Alrighty, good Friday afternoon, everyone. Um, Jacob Mountain live here of West Michigan weather. I am also joined by Jonah Drake, who is out in the field. He is currently in the Holland area, which happens to be why we're on the air this afternoon, as we have a new severe thunderstorm warning that has been issued for Allegan, Ottawa, and Van Buren counties. This new severe thunderstorm warning goes until 4:45 p.m. And I will also note that this is a considerable damage threat, severe thunderstorm warning for the potential of 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Again, this warning goes until 4:45 p.m. and it is for Ottawa, Allegan, and Van Buren counties for the potential of 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Opening up the warning text from the National Weather Service, this was issued at 3:15 p.m. The National Weather Service in Grand Rapids has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for Van Buren County, Allegan County, and Ottawa County. This goes until 4:45 p.m. At 3:13 p.m., severe thunderstorms are located along a line extending from 26 miles west of Holland State Park to 21 miles west of Saugatuck to 13 miles northwest of New Buffalo, moving east at 45 miles per hour. Again, our primary hazard with this line of storms as it moves on shore over the next little while is going to be 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Source on this is radar indicated, although I will say we have had a history of wind gusts in excess of 60 to 70 miles per hour across Wisconsin, southern Wisconsin, and northern Illinois of these storms, including wind gusts over 70 miles an hour near the Chicago area. So these storms have had a history of producing these very strong wind gusts. Expect considerable tree damage. Damage is likely to mobile homes, roofs, and outbuildings. Some locations impacted by this line of severe thunderstorms include Holland, Grand Haven, Allegan, South Haven, Paw Paw, Hudsonville, Zeeland, Coopersville, Wayland, the Otsego area, Plainwell, Hartford, Matawan, the Lawton area, Bangor, Decatur, Fenville, Saugatuck, Martin, and Van Buren State Park. Precautionary preparedness actions. This is something that I don't see too often from the National Weather Service, but they are saying these are potentially deadly storms. Seek shelter in an interior room on the lowest floor of a well-built structure. Abandon vehicles in search of a more substantial permanent structure. Stay away from windows. So again, you need to be if you are in this severe thunderstorm warning in this reddish orange shading, you need to be taking these storms seriously. You need to be finding substantial structure, preferably on the lower floors. And get away from the windows as well. Again, if you are on the beaches right now from we'll say like Port Sheldon, Mekatawa Park, Douglas, Ganges, South Haven. If you're along any of these beaches in this severe thunderstorm warning, you need to be getting off the beach right now. And you need to be finding substantial structure. You will see this line coming in over the next little while. I want to take a look at velocities real quick on this. Remember, it is warned for 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Taking a look at our velocity products, we are seeing winds on radar of at least 60 miles per hour over the lake. That is going to be tracking on shore here over the next little while. I want to do a storm track here. Storm track. We'll track off some of these. Let me update that storm motion. Oops, just a second. What was the storm motion? 45. Okay. Just a second while I do a few storm tracks for you. 45 miles per hour. That is going to take it and oops. Hold on. Let me redo that. East at 45 miles per hour. It's going to take it into Douglas at 3:51, but do not wait. You should be finding shelter right now. The Holland area at 3:59 p.m. Over Isle at 4:04 p.m. Jamestown at 4:17 p.m. Hopkins at 4:21 p.m. Dorr at 4:23 p.m. Wyoming area. This is going to be a heads up for southern Kent County as well. 4:28 p.m. The Wayland area at 4:28 p.m. as well. Grand Rapids, downtown Grand Rapids at 4:32 p.m. and Caledonia at 4:38 p.m. That is at least for this particular section of the line. Let me move a little bit further north. We'll track this northern section of the line, primarily impacting Ottawa. Oops, hold on. Let me redo that. The correct storm motion of 45 miles per hour. That's going to take it into Port Sheldon at 3:53 p.m., Coopersville at 4:14 p.m., Jamestown at 4:18 p.m. Then also in the Kent County, Walker at 4:23 p.m., Wyoming at 4:27 p.m., downtown Grand Rapids, at least for that section of the line potentially, at 4:30 p.m. And also Rockford at 4:40 p.m. and Caledonia also at 4:40 p.m. So again, if you're on this section of the line as well, you need to be taking cover in a sturdy structure. Copy that. And just a moment here, I want to go take a look here at the Chicago radar. And this is going to be a heads up. We are seeing winds here, at least on the Chicago radar. Offshore of St. Joseph, we are seeing winds approaching 70 to 80 miles per hour. So this is going to be a heads up for Berrien County. I would anticipate warnings being issued in the not too distant future for Berrien County. I do also want to note that this special marine warning here that goes from the Lake Michigan waters from St. Joseph down to New Buffalo, they have this warned for 65 knot winds. That is over 70 and in fact closer to 80 miles per hour that they have this storm warned for. Some quick math shows about 75 miles per hour, and there you go. New severe thunderstorm warning for all of Berrien County now. This is going to be for 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts. They also have this warned for 1-inch diameter hail. That is quarter size. A new severe thunderstorm warning. This is going to be for all of Berrien County. So St. Joseph, Waterville, Shoreham, Sodus, Berrien Springs, Benton Harbor, Buchanan, Niles, New Buffalo, Bridgman. Just some of the locations in this new severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect until that goes until 4:45 p.m. as well. And I am also going to note here we do have maybe a little bit of rotation showing up on the Chicago radar. Unfortunately, today we're not going to be able to use Northern Indiana radar. That radar is unfortunately offline due to technical issues, and they do not anticipate having it restored until Tuesday. So we're not going to be able to use that radar today. We're going to have to rely on the surrounding radars, in this case Chicago and Grand Rapids and Detroit, maybe further east as well. But we're not going to be able to use the Northern Indiana radar, so that's just going to leave us with having to use a little bit higher views, unfortunately, but we still have radars that are operable, so we're not flying completely blind here. I also want to note that they are updating our special marine warning further to the north for the special marine warning up here. So the Lake Michigan waters from Ferrysburg down to St. Joseph, they have went 65 knot winds as well. So winds over 70 miles per hour possible over Lake Michigan. That will be moving on shore here over the next little while. So again, if you are along the lakeshore, you need to be finding cover right now. Again, sturdy structure, preferably away from the windows on the lower floors. And I do want to go ahead. I did not get to read the text for the new severe thunderstorm warning for Berrien County, so I'm going to do that real quick. Got a lot of information coming in here at once, so just kind of bear with me here. This warning was issued at 3:25 p.m. Again, the National Weather Service in Northern Indiana has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for all of Berrien County in southwest Michigan. This warning goes until 4:45 p.m. At 3:25 p.m., a severe thunderstorm was located 8 miles to the northwest of Shorewood Tower Hill, or 17 miles north of Michigan City, moving east at 45 miles per hour. Hazard is going to be 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail. Source is radar indicated. Impact: hail damage to vehicles is expected. Expect considerable tree damage. Wind damage is also likely to mobile homes, roofs, and outbuildings. Locations impacted include Niles, Benton Harbor, St. Joseph, Buchanan, Fairplay, Benton Heights, Bridgman, New Buffalo, Berrien Springs, Waterville, Three Oaks, Coloma, Stevensville, Shorewood Tower Hill, Paw Paw Lake, Shorewood Tower Hills, Harbert, Lake Michigan Beach, the Bertrand area, Dayton, and Sodus. This includes Interstate 196 between mile markers 1 and 7, and also Interstate 94 between mile markers 0 and 42. If you are in these areas, for your protection, move to an interior room on the lowest floor of a building. So again, we have active severe thunderstorm warnings now. If you are just tuning in, we have severe thunderstorm warnings that are in effect for Ottawa, Allegan, Van Buren, and Berrien County. These are all warned for wind gusts up to or potentially in excess of 70 miles per hour. Hence a little bit different orange shading we have here that is denoting the considerable damage threat that they have attached to these warnings. So you'll want to be taking these warnings a little bit more seriously than you would a typical, your typical severe thunderstorm warning for 60-mile-an-hour winds or quarter-size hail. You want to be taking these warnings a little bit more seriously. Levi is asking, is this going to be a long storm or just quick? These storms are generally moving 45 to 50 miles an hour off to the east. So I do not think they will stick around in any particular area for way too long. But when they hit, they will quite pack the punch to them. So just something to be aware of. I do want to jump over real quick. Let's go over to our live feed from out in the field. Again, we have Jonah out in the field. Right now, he is located near Fenville. That is going to be in Allegan County. Looking back west towards these storms as they begin to move on shore, and as we can get the trees out of the way, hopefully, here in just a moment. But you could kind of see the storm structure of these storms as they begin to move on shore over the next little bit. So again, we're gonna be keeping an eye on this stream, on Jonah's stream behind the scenes, and we'll be going to that occasionally as well. So again, we got storms moving in here, folks, and you'll want to be taking these seriously. Again, I want to do some more storm tracks real quick, some updated storm tracks for you, starting with the northern portion of the line. We're going to track that off to the east at around 45 miles per hour. Going to take it into Holland at 3:56, the Overijssel area at 4:02 p.m., Jamestown at 4:15 p.m., Dorr at 4:22 p.m., the Wyoming area. So again, a heads up for southern Kent County. If this holds together, warnings may eventually be required for southern Kent County as well at 4:26 p.m., the Wayland area at 4:27 p.m., Caledonia area at 4:36 p.m., Middleville at 4:39 p.m., Virginia Township at 4:50 p.m., Hastings. So Middleville and Hastings, that's going to be a heads up for Barry County as well. Barry County, I know, was actually took a decent hit last night from storms. I know there's still some decent amount of power outages in Barry County from last night's storms. Unfortunately, we have more storms coming in. That's probably going to hinder power restoration progress there in Barry County here soon. But again, Middleville at 4:39. We have Hastings at 4:51. We also have Carlton at 4:55 and Clarksville at 4:56. So again, as this section of the line continues to move off to the east, we will need to be watching Kent and Berry counties as well. Warnings could eventually be required. Zach is saying as long as this storm doesn't give the same feel as the tornado warning from last month, I can breathe comfortably. I do want to say that the tornado threat today is very low, but I do not want to say zero. Because sometimes with these storm lines on the leading edge, you can get click areas of spin, and that could either enhance the damaging wind potential, or we can't fully rule out a brief tornado. Again, I think the chances of that are relatively low compared to the damaging wind threat, which is our primary concern across the area today. But just something to be aware of, and we'll be watching for it as well. We could get some brief areas of spin. We've had a few tornado warnings of these storms back in southern Wisconsin, so just something to be aware of. I want to do another storm track. We'll go a little bit further south with this on this line. We'll go this section. Track that off to the east at 45 miles per hour. That's going to take these storms into South Haven around 4:03 p.m. But you should not wait. You should be taking cover right now. The Lee area at 4:15 p.m. Pine Grove at 4:31 p.m. Allegan at 4:33 p.m. Also, Hopkins at 4:41 p.m. Plainwell at 4:46 p.m. The Wayland area at 4:50 p.m. Kalamazoo at 4:50 p.m. and Orangeville at 4:55 p.m. Richland at 4:59 p.m. and Prairieville at 5 o'clock. I do want to go back to our live feed real quick as Joan is reporting back to me that we do have a big wall cloud on this storm. It's kind of hidden by the trees, but you can kind of see it. Let me go back to radar real quick. If we can get a clearer view, we'll go back to that. But let me note this real quick. All right, Jonah, I just seen this coming in. It looks like they are going enhanced risk now. 20Z update for portions of the area. Yep. So it looks like we do have an enhanced risk coming in here. I will try and get that pulled up here soon so you can see the areas in the enhanced risk. Actually, let me look at it behind the scenes real quick. See what we're looking at with that. It looks like they are upgrading areas along and south of I-96. They are upgrading that to an enhanced risk of severe weather. So that's going to be areas like Grand Rapids, Lansing. Hold on, let me clear that out. So that's going to be areas like Lansing, Grand Rapids, Kalamazoo, the Wajak, Coldwater, Jackson. Just some of these areas I'm calling out. You are now under a level 3 out of 5 enhanced risk for severe weather. That is for this line of thunderstorms that is moving off to the east. They are going enhanced risk now, most likely for enhanced damaging wind potential. So I'm gonna see if I can get updated probabilities shortly for you, but they are now going enhanced risk for areas along and south of I-96 for the potential of it's going to end up being just a second here. It's going to end up being something like this. If you are in the area I am circling here, you are now under an enhanced risk for damaging winds as this line of storms continues to move off to the east. This is for damaging winds potentially in excess of 75 miles per hour as this line of storms continues to move off to the east. I'll go back to radar, but I just wanted to pass that along real quick. The Storm Prediction Center has upgraded southern portions of our area to an enhanced risk for severe weather. Going back to our severe thunderstorm warning, severe thunderstorm warnings. Again, we have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for Ottawa, Allegan, Van Buren, and Berrien County. These warnings are in effect for potential wind gusts in excess of 70 miles per hour. And again, you need to be taking these storms seriously. St. Joseph, it's coming in. So, again, you need to be taking these storms seriously. In St. Joseph, South Haven, Douglas, Holland, Port Sheldon, Grand Haven as well. I want to go back to our live feed real quick because, again, you can see the shelf cloud now. Jonah has a shot of it from near the South Haven area. All right. So we can get a little bit better view of all the trees. But again, shelf cloud noted with this storm as it continues to move, as these storms continue to move on shore over the next little bit. So, again, if you are in any of these severe thunderstorm warnings, you need to be taking these seriously. And if you are not in a severe thunderstorm warning yet, if you're anywhere in the severe thunderstorm watch, so areas along and south of I-96, that has the best potential of seeing damaging winds this afternoon from this line of storms that will continue to move off to the east. So, again, let me go back here and I want to take a look at our velocities again. Again, we are using surrounding radars here, but near Holland, near Douglas, near Ganges, I am still showing wind velocities of at least 50 to 60 miles per hour. Moving on shore here shortly. So, and then I want to go back. We'll take a look at Chicago radar. I want offshore of St. Joseph. We are still showing velocities in excess of 70 miles per hour in spots, potentially approaching 80 miles per hour. So St. Joseph, South Haven, Covert area, Lake Michigan Beach. Just some areas I'm calling out. We are seeing enhanced damaging wind potential with gusts over potentially in excess of 70 miles per hour. A distinct possibility. We are also watching these storms. Some cells that have fired ahead of the line as well. Let me go back to Grand Rapids. Grand Rapids radar. Again, we are watching these cells that have formed ahead of the line, like one near the state line, near Elkhart, Indiana. As I move the map down a little bit. We also have this one near the Vicksburg and Flowerfield area, near the Kalamazoo. And that's going to be St. Joseph County line. Some other cells are starting to flare up near Marshall. None of these are currently severe, but these may carry a little bit more of a damaging wind. In addition to the damaging wind threat associated with the main line, we're also going to be watching a little bit more of a hail threat with these cells that formed out ahead of it. And again, while the tornado threat is very low, it is non-zero. And these cells that form ahead of the line can sometimes have a little bit more of a tornado threat as well. Although even with the main line, we can see some areas with spin from time to time. I want to go back. Yep. We're going to take Jonah's feed full for just a second so you guys can have a look at this big shelf cloud that we have with these severe thunderstorms. Again, Jonah is going to be near the South Haven area. Taking a look at these storms as they come in from the lake. So again, these are, you will notice this come on shore, but it might look, don't get me wrong, this is an amazing view, but no, these are very dangerous storms moving on shore. So again, with winds up to or potentially in excess of 70 miles per hour. So if you are in Port Sheldon, Holland, Douglas, Ganges, South Haven, Lake Michigan Beach, St. Joseph, if you're in the Bridgman and Berrien Springs area, New Troy, New Buffalo, it's already storming. You already likely have some intense storms ongoing in the area right now. Again, wind gusts potentially in excess of 70 miles per hour with these storms as they continue to move on shore. Again, if you are north of I-96, your severe threat is not zero, but more likely than not, these storms are going to stay along and south of I-96 unless we get some new development on the northern edge. That may clip up to, we'll say, the M46 corridor.
Pretty gnarly.
Overall, the best potential for damaging winds today at least with this round of storms, is going to be along and south of I-96. So within the severe thunderstorm watch area. Remember, we do have a severe thunderstorm watch for areas along and south of I-96 that goes until 10 p.m. I do think these storms will be clear of the area before 10 p.m., given storm motions of 45 to potentially 50 miles per hour. But that, again, this watch also does include portions of southeast lower, so the Detroit area and also Flint area. So again, that is why it goes until 10 p.m. I do think these storms will probably be clear of our area. I'll say probably closer to the 7, 8, 9 o'clock time frame for our region. But nonetheless, we'll be here with you guys until these storms have passed. So again, right now you are looking at our live feed from Jonah, who is out in the field near South Haven. We also have we have Jonah out in the field of these storms as they move on shore. So, okay. So you'll notice it rushing on shore now near South Haven. So we'll likely notice the winds begin to pick up
I'm
here.
I'm being overtaken by the gust front now.
Yep. The gust front is moving on shore near South Haven. So you'll notice the winds start to pick up as these storms begin to move overhead. Again, we'll go back to velocity on radar here real quick. And again, wind gusts up to 60, 70, if not maybe in excess of 70 miles per hour. Possible these storms as they continue to move on shore. So if you are in these severe thunderstorm warnings, you need to be taking shelter. Most preferably, you should be in a sturdy building. Stay away from the windows as these storms continue to move on shore here. Again, you'll notice people beginning to leave the beach as these storms come on in. As the winds begin to pick up here.
Good. How are you guys?
You will also notice with these storms, the winds might pick up a little bit more ahead of the rainfall, which will come shortly afterwards. And you can kind of see it here on radar. I'll try to highlight it near the Ganges and Douglas areas. Here, let me take radar full just for a second. See, I'm going to highlight it with my mouse. You can see this little bit of a blue line in this newer scan. That is the outflow coming out from these storms as well. So you will notice winds kind of pick up a little bit ahead of the rainfall as these storms come on shore. But just because the rain hasn't picked up doesn't mean the wind's any less dangerous. That is why we're telling you, even if it doesn't immediately rain, these winds still going to do damage. So you need to be heading indoors as these storms approach. Zach from Facebook is saying, I wonder if those beachgoers are feeling like their holiday weekend has been ruined with this weather event. Well, the good news is that the holiday weekend, yes, there's chances from showers and thunderstorms throughout the entire weekend, but I do not think it's going to be a whole washout throughout the weekend here. It's not going to be an entire washout. It's just going to be occasional showers and thunderstorms that we'll have to be watching. There are storm chances tomorrow and Sunday as well. I do think Sunday will be the day we see more in the way of a widespread rain. Saturday will be more of, again, of that scattered storm type of deal. So again, this weekend, do not expect a total washout, but just keep a radar app on you. Have ways to receive any alerts if we do have storms develop and become severe. I do think the severe chances overall the next couple days are lower than they are today, but I don't want to say they're entirely zero. So, all right, we got a new severe thunderstorm warning coming in. This is going to be for Cass County. Cass County, we have a new severe thunderstorm warning. This is another considerable tag severe thunderstorm warning for 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts and also nickel-size hail. And it does look like it includes the far western sections of St. Joseph County as well. So again, mainly Cass County, but also the far western section of St. Joseph County. This is a new severe thunderstorm warning. In effect, this warning is going to go, as I pull it up on my other computer here. This warning is going to go until 5 o'clock p.m. So a new severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Cass and the far western sections of St. Joseph County until 5 p.m. Again, this has the considerable damage threat tag on it for 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts. And also nickel-size hail is a possibility of the storm as well as it continues to move east. I want to pull up the warning text from the National Weather Service and we'll read that off real quick. This warning was issued at 3:47 p.m. The National Weather Service in northern Indiana has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for northern Elkhart and St. Joseph counties. This is north central Indiana. And also in Michigan, Cass County and western St. Joseph County in southwest Michigan. This goes until 5 o'clock p.m. At 3:47 p.m., a severe thunderstorm was located near the Three Oaks area, or 7 miles to the west of Buchanan, moving east at 40 miles per hour. Again, hazard with this is going to be 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts and nickel-sized hail. Source on this is going to be radar indicated. Again, impact, expect considerable tree damage. Damage is likely to mobile homes, roofs, and outbuildings. Locations impacted include South Bend, Elkhart, Mishawaka, Goshen, Niles, Dowagiac, the Goervor Park area, I believe that is, Granger, Dunlap, Simonton Lake, Osceola, New Carlisle, Cassopolis, Wauwatosa, Bristol, Edwardsburg, Marcellus, Roseland, Union, and Pokagon. Some of those locations are northern Indiana specific, but I'm just going to go ahead and read them off anyway. And if you are in this warning for your protection, move to an interior room on the lowest floor of a building. So, and that goes for any of these warnings if you are in. Again, if you are in, let me just zoom out a little bit. If you are in Ottawa, Allegan, I will say Ottawa County, mainly southern sections of the Ottawa County, I think are going to have the better threat here. But if you're in this polygon in Ottawa County, I would respect it. I would be heading indoors. But also, if you're in Ottawa, Allegan, Van Buren, Berrien, and now Cass and western St. Joseph counties, you need to be taking these storms seriously. You need to be heading indoors and let these storms pass. Again, these storms are capable of winds up to or potentially in excess of 70 miles per hour. We'll take a look at velocities real quick. Holland, Port Sheldon, Fenville. You're likely noticing the winds pick up. Ganges and Douglas, the winds have likely picked up for a few minutes now. Over Isle, the winds are going to pick up shortly, along with Zeeland, Jamestown, and Hudsonville. Going a bit further south, you've seen the winds begin to pick up a little bit on our live feed from Jonah. Again, he is near South Haven. If you're in Covert, Lake Michigan Beach, the Coloma area, St. Joseph, Sodus, Berrien Springs, Buchanan, you're likely noticing our winds pick up. It does look like we've temporarily lost Jonah's feed. That will come back. That is just a cell signal thing, unfortunately. Looks like it's starting to come back. New information. They are just continuing this special marine warning. That is being continued. They just trimmed off some of the western edge of it. But they are continuing that for 65-knot winds. So that is around 75 miles per hour for reference. Speaking of that, take a look. This is on the Chicago radar. We're still seeing winds indicated on radar in excess of 60, 70 plus miles per hour. That's very high up, but we're seeing a few pixels over 100 miles per hour. I doubt 120-mile-an-hour winds are reaching the surface. This is rather high up, but northern Berrien County, you're likely seeing high winds right now. And at least on the Chicago radar, we are kind of monitoring. I think it's more enhanced wind weather than a tornado threat right now. But maybe a little bit of spin near the Buchanan area. This will be in southeastern Berrien County. Again, this is a rather high look. Unfortunately, we do not have the northern Indiana radar available, so we're having to use surrounding radars. But even from the Grand Rapids radar, we can kind of see it a little bit as well. I don't think it's an imminent tornado threat. And again, I think our tornado threat is relatively low today, but it is non-zero with these lines. Again, sometimes you can get those brief areas of spin that can kind of spin up a brief tornado or two. Again, I do think the chances of that are low compared to our damaging wind threat, but it is something I have to mention. I do want to do some updated storm tracks for you as these storms come into the Holland area right now. Let me get an updated storm track going off to the east. Let me double check storm motion real quick though. Or I can just start a little bit out ahead. All right, that's going to take it into Holland, right? It says 359, but it's moving in as I speak to you here. Jamestown at around 416. The Door area at around 424. Kentwood, and so again, southern Kent County, I would anticipate warnings being issued here in the not too distant future. But Kentwood at 4:29 p.m. The Caledonia area at 4:37 p.m. The Gerald R. Ford International Airport area at 4:37. The Irving or Ivering area at 4:44. Virginius Township at 4:50. Freeport at 4:51. So Carlton at 4:55. That's going to be a heads up for northern Berry County as well. I really should say all of Berry County. I would anticipate warnings soon as well. Clarksville at 4:55 p.m., Lake Odessa at 5:02 p.m., and Ionia at 5:09 p.m. So that's going to be a heads up for Ionia County as well. These storms are on the way to you as well in the next hour and a half or 2 hours or so. So again, within the next hour and a half. So again, you need to be if you're not in a warning yet, I would be getting ready for warnings to be issued soon. But if you are in an active warning, you need to be taking them seriously. You need to be taking shelter. Let me go a bit further south. Do another track. We'll go this section of the line, and then we'll go for the southern edge. Again, this is for the main line of storms. I am aware there are storms that have developed out ahead of the main line, but this is for the main line of damaging winds. Looks like we have Covert at 4:04, but it is moving in as I talk to you here. Bangor at 4:17, Breedsville at 4:21, Paw Paw at 4:37, Pine Grove at 4:39, the Almena area at 4:42 p.m. We have Alamo at 4:52 p.m., Plainwell at 4:59 p.m., Kalamazoo, so a heads up for Kalamazoo County. It is storming in portions of Kalamazoo County right now. Those storms are currently not severe. This is for the main line of damaging winds. That will be arriving in the Kalamazoo area around 5 o'clock, 5:02 p.m. to be specific. We have Parchment at 5:04 p.m., Portage at 5:04 p.m. as well. The Richland area at 5:14 p.m., Prairiesville at 5:17 p.m., and also Climax at 5:24 p.m. So going a little bit further south, I do want to copy that. What was the wind gusts? Copy, thank you. So we have measured 45-mile-per-hour wind gusts from our from our chase vehicle out in the field near South Haven. So again, we have a measured 45-mile-an-hour wind gust. I also see we have a storm report coming in here as well. 1 mile to the north of Benton Heights. That's in Berrien County. We do have a 55-mile-an-hour wind gust. This is coming from the Benton Harbor automated station. A 55-mile-per-hour wind gust was measured as these storms moved in around 10 to 15 minutes ago. I want to do one more storm track real quick. This is going to be for the southern portion of the line here that is moving into Cass County right now. Tracking that off to the east, that's going to take it into Pokagon. It says 407, but storms are moving in as I talk to you here. Cassopolis area around 4:15, 4:20, says 4:19 p.m. Fabius area shortly after 4:30 at 4:39 p.m. Constantine at 4:44 p.m. Flowerfield at 4:46 p.m. Centerville at 4:53 p.m. and Sturgis at 5:02 p.m. In some of these areas, it is already storming, but this is for the main section of damaging winds. So for St. Joseph County as well, treat this as your early heads up that we may eventually require severe thunderstorm warnings for St. Joseph County and again Kalamazoo County. This is going to be for the main line of damaging winds. Yeah. See any other new information here? Yeah, I just want to do a general recap of the situation. If you are north of I-96, you will notice I have not mentioned you much. That's because there's not really too much going on right now. So if you're in Ludington, Reed City, Hart, Big Rapids, Mount Pleasant, some Clare, there's not really too much to be concerned about right now. I do think there may be a chance of showers and thunderstorms later this evening, but I think the severe weather threat up there is relatively low. Our main focus is going to be really south of M46 and particularly near and south of the I-96 corridor. That is going to have the best potential for damaging winds this afternoon, hence where the severe thunderstorm watch, you will note the severe thunderstorm watch that was issued. Let me take off radar just for a second. This kind of pink shading here, coral shading, we'll say this is your severe thunderstorm watch. That's in effect until 10 p.m. in the areas that are highlighted here in this color here. That is a severe thunderstorm watch. It goes until 10 p.m. And your orange boxes here, those are your severe thunderstorm warnings. You will notice they are a little bit more of a reddish orange shading. That is because they have a considerable damage tag on them. That is for the potential 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts. So again, if you are in Ottawa, particularly southern Ottawa County, but most of Ottawa County you are in this morning, so you'll want to take it seriously. Also, Allegan County, Van Buren County, Berrien County, Cass County, and western St. Joseph County. You need to be taking these warnings seriously. You need to be taking cover inside that sturdy building, preferably away from the windows. You'll preferably want to be away from windows as these storms move in. Kind of get interior if you can as well. That would be the best advice I can give you as these storms move in. And again, don't wait. You should be taking cover right now. So again, active severe thunderstorm warnings for Ottawa, Allegan, Van Buren, Berrien, and Cass counties. We are watching these storms that have flared up ahead of the line as well. For areas near Marshall, Battle Creek, Kalamazoo, Leonidas, across portions of Kalamazoo, Calhoun, Branch, and St. Joseph counties. None of these storms are currently severe. We're monitoring those just in case, like we could be seeing a little bit of a hail threat develop with this cell just on the south side of Kalamazoo, between Kalamazoo and Portage, near the Kalamazoo Battle Creek International Airport. We are noticing a little bit of a potential hail core of this storm. Let me take a look at a few products here behind the scenes. Our correlation coefficient is showing some signals for hail. I want to pop on hail tracker on this storm. Excuse me, on the storm as well. And our hail tracker is elevated as well with the storm near the Kalamazoo Battle Creek International Airport area between Kalamazoo and Portage. So tracking, see where that's going. That is heading east. So areas like Lakewood, Comstock, Galesburg, the Collins Center, Pavilion Center, Pomeroy Community, Scotts, Pavilion, and Climax as well. We'll be watching for a little bit elevated potential of some hail this storm. Again, hail up to around, the watch did note potential for hail up to ping pong ball size and diameter. That is most likely going to be with these cells that have formed ahead of the line rather than the main line of storms. Main line of storms, I do think any hail would be small in diameter or less than 1 inch in diameter, although you can get an occasional quarter-size hailstone sometimes with these lines. Our main hail concern today is going to be for these cells that have formed ahead of the line. Like we are watching this one in particular in central Kalamazoo County, between Kalamazoo and Portage. Going back to our velocity product, take a look at our wind potential. We are still showing elevated velocities here, in excess of 50 miles an hour over the Overijssel area. That's going to be heading into Wayland, Dorr, Jamestown, Hudsonville as well. You'll likely notice winds pick up shortly. I'm going further south. All right. New severe thunderstorm warning coming in now. This is a new severe thunderstorm warning. This is going to be for all of Kalamazoo and all of Calhoun County. This is going to be for, this new warning is going to go until 5:30 p.m. This is a new severe thunderstorm warning for Kalamazoo and Calhoun County for 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts and also quarter-size hail. That is likely for the cell we were just looking at between Kalamazoo and Portage. That is going to be where your most likely where your hail concern is. But new severe thunderstorm warning is going to include all of Kalamazoo and all of Calhoun County. This goes until 5:30 p.m. So pulling up the warning text from the National Weather Service. And again, this was issued at 4:04 p.m. The National Weather Service in Grand Rapids has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for Calhoun County and Kalamazoo County. This goes until 5:30 p.m. At 4:03 p.m., a severe thunderstorm is located near Portage, with additional severe thunderstorms developing across Kalamazoo and Calhoun counties, moving to the east at 25 miles per hour. Hazard of these storms are going to be 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail. Source on this is going to be radar indicated. Hail damage to vehicles is expected. Expect considerable tree damage. Wind damage is also likely to mobile homes, roofs, and outbuildings. Locations impacted include Kalamazoo, Portage, Albion, Marshall, Battle Creek, Vicksburg, Galesburg, Parchment, the Homer area, Union City, Schoolcraft, Climax, Richland, Burlington, Westwood, Brownlee Park, Comstock Northwest, Gull Lake, Alamo, and Fulton. If you are in these areas, I will note the National Weather Service in Grand Rapids is using enhanced wording again. Yes, I did have your feed for a little bit, Jonah. Just communicating behind the scenes here, but what I was saying is that this is a potentially deadly storm. Seek shelter in an interior room on the lowest floor of a well-built structure. Abandon vehicles in search of a more substantial permanent structure. Stay away from windows. So that is the National Weather Service in Grand Rapids using enhanced wording when it comes to the precautionary preparedness actions on these severe thunderstorm warnings today. And it makes sense considering the history of these storms and the fact that so again, you need to be taking these warnings seriously if you are in any of these warning polygons. I will note they did update our warning for Allegan, Ottawa, and Van Buren counties. They have trimmed off some portions of Ottawa County. So if you're in Robinson, if you're in Grand Haven, if you're in Coopersville, you're not in the severe thunderstorm warning anymore. This is primarily southern half. We'll say the southern half of Ottawa County, so Port Sheldon, Holland, the Zeeland area, Hudsonville, and Jamestown. You're still in the severe thunderstorm warning. The warning also continues for all of Allegan and all of Van Buren counties. This warning does continue until 4:45 p.m. I see they are also updating our warning for Berrien County. They have trimmed off portions of Berrien County as well. So areas like Lake Michigan Beach, Benton Heights, St. Joseph, Stevensville, down towards New Buffalo Township, you are no longer in the severe thunderstorm warning. I would still remain inside. There is still likely lightning in the area as these storms passed on by, but you are outside of the severe weather danger, at least from these particular storms. Again, we still have severe thunderstorm warnings that continue for Cass and western St. Joseph counties as well, along with Kalamazoo and Calhoun counties. And there you go. This is going to be for portions of Kent County. This is a new severe thunderstorm warning. They are going considerable tag warning again. This is going to be for portions of central and southern Kent County. This is going to include the city of Grand Rapids. This is also going to include Wyoming, Kentwood, Caledonia, Virginia Township, Walker, and Grattan. And a few reports coming in from the National Weather Service. At South Haven, we have a gust to 60 miles per hour. And in Kalamazoo, the Kalamazoo ASOS station is reporting a wind gust of 69 knots. That is going to be 80 miles per hour. An 80 mile per hour wind gust was just recorded in the last few minutes at the Kalamazoo airport. Just a heads up, Kalamazoo ASOS has just gusted to 80 miles per hour. So again, it's an 80 mile an hour wind gust was just recorded in the last few minutes with this storm here at the Kalamazoo Battle Creek International Airport at the ASOS station there. So if you are in Galesburg, if you're in Cooks Mill, if you're in Climax, you need to be taking these storms seriously. We just had an observed 80 mile an hour wind gust at the Kalamazoo Airport station, at the Kalamazoo Battle Creek International Airport Observation Station. That is going to be from this cell right here. This is not from the main line of damaging winds. This is from that cell that is out ahead of it. There's likely a downburst or something of that nature, but you still need to be taking it seriously. I want to take a look at velocity real quick in the area. And go back a little bit. That looks likely to be a downburst that happened there. So again, 80 mile per hour wind gust was recorded in the last few minutes. We will see if the National Weather Service confirms it, but an unconfirmed 80 mile an hour wind gusts in the last few minutes at the Kalamazoo Battle Creek International Airport. So if you're in Galesburg, you're in Climax, eventually Pavilion and Battle Creek as well, you need to be taking these storms seriously. You need to be taking cover right now. And with winds that high, I would treat it like a tornado warning at that point, and I would be taking your tornado precautions. I do want to read off the warning text for our new severe thunderstorm warning for Kent County. Kent County. This is going to be a new severe thunderstorm warning. This is issued at 4:08 p.m. The National Weather Service in Grand Rapids has issued a new severe thunderstorm warning for southern Kent County. This goes until 5:45 p.m. At 4:08 p.m., severe thunderstorms are located along a line extending from 6 miles south of Grand Haven to 8 miles to the north of Allegan to 8 miles north of Bangor, moving to the east at 35 miles per hour. Hazard with this is going to be 70 mile an hour wind gusts. Source on this is going to be radar indicated. Impact, expect damage, considerable tree damage. Damage is likely to mobile homes, roofs, and outbuildings. Locations impacted include Grand Rapids, the Wyoming area, Kentwood, Walker, Granville, East Grand Rapids, Lowell, Caledonia, Gerald R. Ford International Airport, Ada, the Grattan area, Dutton, Cutlerville, Belmont, Comstock Park, Northview, Murray Lake, Alaska, Alto, and Byron Center. Again, with our enhanced language for the precautionary preparedness actions from the National Weather Service, these are potentially deadly storms. Seek shelter in an interior room on the lowest floor of a well-built structure. Abandon vehicles in search of a more substantial permanent structure. Stay away from windows. So that is enhanced wording from the National Weather Service with these storms here. And I will note our radar system may be watching a little bit of an area of rotation here near Jamestown. I do see we got a new severe thunderstorm warning coming in. We'll go take a look at that in just a moment. Take a look at this. This appears to be more of a straight line wind signature. We'll keep watching it. I don't see anything concerning in terms of an imminent tornado threat, but nonetheless, gusty to damaging winds, potentially in excess of 70 miles per hour, are getting ready to move into the Jamestown area, and we'll be moving towards Corinth, Kentwood, Caledonia, Granville, Wyoming, East Grand Rapids, and eventually Grand Rapids proper as well over the next little while as these storms continue to move off to the east. We have another new severe thunderstorm warning. This is going to be for portions of Eaton, Ingham, and Jackson counties. This is a new severe thunderstorm warning that is coming in now. This is again going to be for 1-inch hail and 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Just like most of our warnings today, they are looking at a considerable damage threat with this warning as well. So Jeff Marks is asking, can you check what those wind gusts and hail radars look like? Give me just a moment, Jeff, and we will do that. I just want to go ahead and read off this new warning text real quick. National Weather Service in Grand Rapids, this was issued at 4:12. A severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for northwestern Jackson, southern Ingham, and southeastern Eaton County. This goes until 5:45 p.m. This is for this cell, again, out ahead of the main line. This is for the potential 70 mile an hour at 4:12 p.m. A severe thunderstorm was located 8 miles southwest of Eaton Rapids, moving east at 25 miles per hour. Hazard is 70 mile an hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail. Source on this is going to be radar indicated. Hail damage to vehicles is expected. Expect considerable tree damage. Wind damage is also likely to mobile homes, roofs, and outbuildings. Locations impacted include Mason, Eaton Rapids, Leslie, Stockbridge, Aurelius, Onondaga, Bunker Hill, Brookfield, Weberville, Springport, Dansville, the Eden area, Fitchburg, Tompkins, Rives Junction, and Pleasant Lake. If you are in this warning for your protection, move to the interior room by the lowest floor of a building. And again, with the enhanced language saying this is a potentially deadly storm, you'll want to seek shelter in the interior room on the lowest floor of the well-built structure, abandon vehicles, and search for more permanent structure and stay away from the windows. All right, so we'll go ahead and take a look at a few other products here now. Let's start with velocity on this storm. I will say the highest winds, we are seeing a potential downburst signature near the Springport area. So if there's going to be hail, that is likely, not hail, damaging winds, that's likely where it's going to be. I want to take a look at debris tracker as well. We're not using it for tornado debris, though. We are using it to look for hail in this case. And again, we are seeing some signals for hail, not only with this cell, but in Calhoun County, we're seeing some signals for hail. And back off to the west in Kalamazoo County, we continue to see signals for hail as well. Taking a look at hail tracker real quick. And we continue to see a few signals for hail with these cells out ahead of the main line as well. Starting with this one near Kalamazoo, it looks like the National Weather Service is confirming. They are confirming that 79 mile an hour wind gusts from 12 minutes ago at the Kalamazoo airport. National Weather Service is confirming that wind gust. So very, very high winds approaching 80 miles per hour in the last 10 minutes ago, roughly, at the Kalamazoo Battle Creek International Airport between Kalamazoo and Portage. And back to our hail tracker, though, we are seeing signals for hail near Marshall, near Springport. Again, that will be heading to the northeast and into portions of Eaton, Jackson, and Ingham counties over the next few minutes. We're also seeing some signals for hail near Leonidas. We're seeing another elevated signal for hail. And near the Dowagiac area, we are also seeing an elevated signal for hail as well. All right. So, and then once you get into the main line, if I go back to reflectivity, Our main line, while the hail concern is not zero, such as near the Dowagiac and Cassopolis area, our hail concern is really with these main storms out ahead, with these cells that have formed out ahead of the line. That is carrying a little bit more of a hail threat in addition to the damaging wind potential. These storms are definitely capable of winds in excess of 70 miles per hour as well. Remember, we had nearly 80-mile-an-hour wind gusts, a 79-mile-per-hour wind gust recorded at 4:05 p.m. This was near Portage, in between Kalamazoo and Portage at the Kalamazoo Battle Creek International Airport. So you'll want to be taking these storms as well that form out ahead of the line. You'll want to be taking these seriously as well. And then we also have our main line of damaging winds, which is beginning to move in the southern portions of Kent County right now. Take a look at radar velocities here. On these storms, I'm seeing radar indications of 50 to 60 mile-an-hour winds being indicated. Pushing into southwestern Kent County right now near the Ross and Corinth areas. Heading into North Byron, up towards Granville is where we're seeing those. Further south, we're seeing some enhanced area of wind near the Wayland area. Take a look at storm relative. And near Wayland, in fact, we're seeing maybe a little bit, again, those little areas of spin that can develop along the leading edge of these lines. Those could potentially be gustnados or very brief, weak tornadoes that may develop. Again, chances of that are relatively low. Our main concern is really going to be those damaging straight line winds. And they are going destructive tag. They are going with a destructive tag now on our warning for Kalamazoo and Calhoun counties. This is going to be a destructive tag, severe thunderstorm warning for winds up to 80 miles per hour, in addition to quarter-size hail. So if you are in Kalamazoo and Calhoun counties, your cell phones are likely sounding right now. Across Kalamazoo and Calhoun counties, your cell phones are likely going off for this warning. This is due to this warning having a destructive tag on it for winds in excess of 80 miles per hour. And also quarter-size hail threat does continue with these storms as well. Again, this is a destructive tag, severe thunderstorm warning in Kalamazoo and Calhoun counties. I would be treating this warning like a tornado warning at this point, and be taking your tornado precautions if you are in Kalamazoo and Calhoun counties. Again, the concern is not from a tornado, but rather destructive straight line winds. Remember, these storms have had a history of producing destructive winds, with 79 mile per hour wind gusts recorded at the Kalamazoo Battle Creek International Airport around 15 to 20 minutes ago. That has likely what prompted the upgrade due to this severe thunderstorm warning. I do see we have a new severe thunderstorm warning coming in shortly. And again, reading the warning text update, yes, this upgrade is due to the 79 mile an hour wind gusts at Kalamazoo Airport. So this is a destructive storm for East Side Kalamazoo, Galesburg, and Climax. This storm will be in the vicinity at Battle Creek by 5 p.m. So again, this is a destructive storm for portions of Kalamazoo and Calhoun County. I don't say this to hype up the storm. This is directly from the National Weather Service. So Galesburg, you're likely seeing the thick of this storm right now. You're likely seeing some potential hail in addition to potentially destructive winds as these storms continue to move off to the east. I want to we'll go ahead and do a storm track on this storm specifically. As it moves off to the east at around 25 miles per hour, that's going to take it. Let me zoom in and see if I can get a few more locations here. It's over Galesburg. It's over Augusta. It's over the Fort Custer Recreation Area right now. It's going to take it into the Fort Custer Recreation Area, the core of the storm, at 4:30 p.m. The Fort Custer Training Center at 4:32 p.m. The W.K. Kellogg Regional Airport area at 4:40 p.m. Springfield at 4:42 p.m., Urbandale at 4:43 p.m., Lakeview at 4:45 p.m., downtown Battle Creek at 4:49 p.m., Maplehurst at 4:53 p.m., Greenfield Park at 4:55 p.m., Waddles Park at 4:50 6:58 p.m. Penfield at 5:01 p.m. Walnut Point at 5:14 p.m. and Olivet at 5:25 p.m. Again, these are destructive thunderstorms that are in effect for destructive thunderstorms moving into the Battle Creek area over the next little bit. And I do see we do have a new severe thunderstorm warning that was issued. This is going to be for all of Berry County. All of Berry County. So Hastings, Irving, Orangeville, Prairieville, the Osira area, Nashville, also Middleville, the Gun Lake area. You're in this as well. This is a considerable severe thunderstorm warning, considerable damage tag. This warning is going to go. Let me pull up that text from the National Weather Service real quick here. This is a new severe thunderstorm warning that was issued at 4:21 p.m. This is for all of Berry County until 5:45 p.m. At 4:20 p.m., severe thunderstorms were located along a line extending from near Hudsonville to near Wayland to near Otsego, moving to the east at 40 miles per hour. Hazard is 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Source, radar indicated. Impact, expect considerable tree damage. Damage is likely to mobile homes, roofs, and outbuildings. Just a second. Okay. Locations impacted include Hastings, Middleville, Nashville, Freeport, the Orangeville area, Irving, Osira, Woodland, Delton, Banfield, Gun Lake, Yankee Springs, Prairieville, Hickory Corners, Dowling, Pine Lake, Woodbury, Cloverdale, and Lacey. If you are in this area, again, enhanced wording from the National Weather Service. These are potentially deadly storms. Seek shelter in an interior room on the lowest floor of a well-built structure. Abandoned vehicles in search of a more substantial permanent structure. Stay away from windows. Again, this is a severe thunderstorm warning for potential 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Going back further north in the southwest Kent County, our radar system is continuing to indicate signal potential area to watch in terms of rotation. Taking a look at velocity here, again, I'm still not really seeing anything definitive that screams rotation or tornado on the ground or anything like that. But nonetheless, gusty winds are likely near the Carlisle area, over Byron Center, North Byron, Kentwood. They'll be heading into Kentwood shortly. Also, East Grand Rapids, Wyoming, downtown Grand Rapids eventually as well. You will notice the winds pick up as these storms continue to lift off to the east, maybe a touch due northeast. Going a bit further south, they have, for our state line counties, they have dropped a considerable tag from these warnings. These are now just base severe thunderstorm warnings for the potential 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. So Cassopolis, Dowagiac, Fabius, Centerville, the Colon area, Bronson, Sturgis. Well, these storms are capable of producing damaging wind gusts to 60 miles per hour and hail up to around penny size, potentially maximum. I do have a few storm reports to pass along real quick. In the Waterville area, members of the public we have several photos on Facebook that were sent to the National Weather Service in northern Indiana showing trees down in the Waterville area. In Eau Claire, we have reports of a large tree down and power is out. And another report from Waterville of photos of a very large tree snapped in Bainbridge Township, south of Waterville, time estimated via radar. So again, these storms have had a history of producing damage. So you should be taking all of these warnings seriously, really, but especially our destructive tag, severe thunderstorm warning, that is in effect for Kalamazoo and Calhoun counties. This destructive tag, severe thunderstorm warning, goes until 5:30 p.m. taking a general look at the radar situation, I know we haven't really talked about areas north of I-96, so areas like Muskegon, Howard City, Ithaca, Mount Pleasant, White Cloud, Hart, Ludington, Reed City, and Clare. That is because those areas are currently not in imminent danger from the severe thunderstorms. It is areas along and south of I-96 which I think continue to have the best threat in the short term from these impacts from these severe thunderstorms, mainly in the form of damaging winds. Although some hail is a possibility, especially with these cells out ahead of the line. And they are updating some of our warnings. If you are in Berrien County, you have been cleared from the severe thunderstorm warning. They have just canceled the Berrien County severe thunderstorm warning. And they have also updated the warning for Ottawa, Allegan, and Van Buren counties. They have cleared, if you're in western half of western and northern Ottawa County, western Allegan County, and western Van Buren County, you have been cleared from the severe thunderstorm warning as well. And again, if you're in southeastern Ottawa, eastern Allegan, and eastern Van Buren County, you do remain in the severe thunderstorm warning for the potential of 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts. They are continuing the considerable tag with this warning. And again, we still have considerable tags, severe thunderstorm warnings for southern and central Kent counties, Barry County, also portions of southeastern Eaton, Ingham, and northern Jackson counties. Along with our destructive severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect for Kalamazoo and Calhoun counties for the potential of wind gusts up to 80 miles per hour and quarter-size hail. And we continue with base severe thunderstorm warnings for 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts for portions of Cass, St. Joseph, and Branch counties. I did not get to mention this earlier, but if anyone has any storm reports to pass along to us, please feel free to send those reports to us. You can let us know in chat or on our website. I'll post a link to that in chat here shortly. I have just posted the link in our chat rooms to our website at www.westmichiganweather.net/report. Feel free to submit those storm reports to us if you can do so safely. I don't want people going out in the middle of the storm trying to submit a storm report to us. I would rather see a damage report after the fact of damage or something like that. I do not want people going out in the middle of the storm to get unless you are trained to do so. Do not go out in the middle of the storm trying to get storm reports to us. Wait till after the fact until you know it's safe to do so. Tegan is asking, how's the Wajak now? Babies and I are in the basement. The Wajak, I will say the strongest part of the storms are beginning to clear to your east. You are still in the severe thunderstorm warning, so if you would feel more comfortable staying in the basement for a few more minutes, that would be if you would feel safer down there, then go ahead. But I will say, at least on radar here, I am showing the strongest storms beginning to pass to the east of the Wajak area. Strongest storms right now appear to be over eastern Cass County, so areas like Marcellus, Fabius, really in the St. Joseph counties where I'm showing the strongest part of these storms now. So give it a few more minutes. I would definitely remain inside anyway because there's still lightning being detected as these storms pass. But I will say the strongest part of the storms are passing to your east, and your severe threat will begin to wind down here in the not too distant future. Dragonfly is asking about Clarkston. Clarkston's outside of our coverage area. I cannot remember. Our coverage area is West Michigan. Let me quickly highlight it with my mouse. This is our primary coverage area. So Clarkston, you're in southeast lower. You're under a severe thunderstorm watch. You're not under any warning, so you're not in imminent danger. But definitely still remain weather aware over the next few hours. In the Clarkston area, I would tend to think you may start to see these storms move in and may require severe thunderstorm warnings, probably sometime in the next few hours. Again, the severe thunderstorm watch does go for the entire area until 10 o'clock p.m. So, updating our severe thunderstorm warnings for areas of Cass and St. Joseph County. And then, so they have dropped western portions of Cass County. So they have dropped Dowagiac, Pokagon, areas west of Cassopolis. If you're in western section of Cass County, you have been dropped from the severe thunderstorm warning. So Tegan, if you're still watching, I know you were just asking about the Dowagiac. You have officially been dropped from the severe thunderstorm warning. And you are all clear, at least right now, from severe weather danger. Levi is saying sirens are going off in Plainville. That would not surprise me, especially the potential for 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Local officials may have opted to sound the warning sirens. Remember, the National Weather Service does not control the warning sirens, and there's all kinds of different criteria for when they opt to sound those sirens. So, but there's no tornado warning in effect for Allegan County, but there is a considerable damage tag severe thunderstorm warning for 70 mile per hour winds. So those are still very strong winds. Those are just as strong as potentially some of our weaker tornadoes. Except the straight line winds usually impact more widespread areas. So that would make the damaging straight line wind threat sometimes worse than a tornado. So you want to be taking any of these warnings seriously, especially the ones with the considerable and destructive tag. We do have a destructive tag severe thunderstorm warning that remains in effect for Kalamazoo and Calhoun counties. I do see we have a new severe thunderstorm warning coming in for the rest of Jackson County. This is going to be a new severe thunderstorm warning that has been issued. This one's going to go until 6 o'clock p.m. for Jackson County. This is a considerable tag severe thunderstorm warning for winds up to 70 miles per hour and also quarter-size hail. Again, that is likely for this storm. These cells out ahead of the line that have formed that are capable of producing winds to 70 miles an hour and hail up to quarter size. So again, I'm going to read off the warning. I do see Tegan asking, is there going to be more severe tonight after this? I do think there could be potential for additional showers and thunderstorms tonight. However, I do think this will be our main severe threat. If we do see additional shower and thunderstorms tonight, I don't want to say the severe threat would be completely zero, but it would tend to be lower than our storms that we're seeing right now. So again, additional showers and thunderstorms can't be ruled out later tonight, but the severe threat would be lower with those than right now. So I do think right now what we're seeing is our main concern. But don't be surprised if we do hear additional thunder and lightning later. And of course, we'll still keep an eye on the storms just in case we do have something misbehave. And we'll be here covering it if we need to. But again, new severe thunderstorm warning for Jackson County. I'm going to go back to that real quick. I'm going to pull up the text from the National Weather Service. And this is a new severe thunderstorm warning for Jackson County in south central Michigan. This was issued at 4:44 p.m. and it goes until 6 o'clock p.m. At 4:34 p.m., a severe thunderstorms were located along a line extending from 13 miles south of Eaton Rapids to near Albion and is moving to the northeast at 15 miles per hour. Hazardous is going to be 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail. Source on this is going to be radar indicated. And impact hail damage to vehicles is expected. Expect considerable tree damage. Wind damage is also likely to mobile homes, roofs, and outbuildings. Some locations impacted by this new severe thunderstorm warning include City of Jackson, Brooklyn, Grass Lake, Vandercook Lake, Leone, Spring Arbor, Napoleon, Sandstone, Norvell, Pulaski, Concord, Horton, Parma, Hanover, the Jackson County Airport area, Oak Point, Pleasant Lake, Liberty, Vineyard Lake, and Clark Lake. These are potentially deadly storms. Again, the enhanced wording from the National Weather Service. Seek shelter in an interior room on the lowest floor of a well-built structure. Abandoned vehicles in search of a more substantial permanent structure. Stay away from windows. So again, another considerable damage threat, severe thunderstorm warning that is likely for these cells that have formed out ahead of the line. These have a little bit more of a hail threat to them, along with the damaging wind threat. I do want to go further south real quick, as we do have a new severe thunderstorm warning that has been issued. This is going to be for portions of Branch and Hillsdale counties. This is for this cell near the Coldwater and Girard areas. This is a new severe thunderstorm warning for 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail. I do want to pull up the warning text on this one as well. Just a second. And National Weather Service in Northern Indiana, this was issued at 4:37 p.m., has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for northeastern Branch County and northwestern Hillsdale County. This goes until 5 o'clock p.m. At 4:36 p.m., the severe thunderstorm was located near Coldwater, moving east at 30 miles per hour. Hazard 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail. Source is radar indicated. Impact, hail damage to vehicles is expected. Expect wind damage to roofs, siding, and trees. Locations impacted include Coldwater, Quincy, Union City, Litchfield, Long Lake, the Girard area, Allen, South Butler, Marble Lake, and Hodunk. This includes Interstate 69 in Michigan between mile markers 12 and 21. So that's going to be Interstate 69 between the Calhoun, Branch County line and Coldwater. If you are in these areas for your protection, move to an interior room on the lowest floor of a building. So there's a base tag severe thunderstorm warning for 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail. I see they have updated our severe thunderstorm warning for Cass and Western St. Joseph County. They have trimmed off more of Cass County from the severe thunderstorm warning. So Bolinia, Penn, Cassopolis, Edwardsburg, you have been dropped from the severe thunderstorm warning. Your severe weather danger is over, at least it is over for now. Again, taking a general look at radar here. All right, we got a new update to our severe thunderstorm warning. For Kent County, they have updated that to drop off some portions of central Kent County. So if you're in downtown Grand Rapids, you have been dropped from the severe thunderstorm warning. If you are in Grattan, Walker, Belmont areas, for example, as well, you have been dropped from the severe thunderstorm warning. This is mainly a southern Kent County issue now. They are continuing it for 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts. We do continue with the considerable damage tag on the severe thunderstorm warning. And this warning does continue until 5:45 p.m. Again, our strongest storms in this area right now are over Kentwood, over Caledonia, over Wyoming. And I want to take a look at velocities here. Still seeing definitely some signs of gusty winds. I'm not seeing on radar, we're not really seeing anything super concerning. I do see we do have a little area, maybe 60-mile-an-hour winds southeast of Bound Center, between Bound Center and Freeport. Heading further south across Berry County, we're seeing 40 to 50-mile-an-hour winds being indicated. So this could be a little area of rotation or a downburst just north of the Augusta area. Near the near where Berry, Calhoun, and Kalamazoo County, those county lines intersect. So near the Hickory Corners, Banfield, and Bedford areas is where we're seeing that. Potentially downburst signature that could enhance the damaging wind potential. Heading further south across Kalamazoo and Calhoun counties, I continue to see winds, at least on this radar, being indicated of 40 to 50, 30 to 40 mile an hour winds. But however, that's being indicated a few thousand feet up. There could still be damaging winds of 70, 80 miles per hour at the surface. Remember, we do continue with this destructive tag, severe thunderstorm warning for Kalamazoo and Calhoun counties. This destructive severe thunderstorm warning continues until that is going to go until 5:30 p.m. Excuse me, just had to double check. 5:30 p.m. I do see we have a damage report coming in from near the Portage area. This was at 4:40. At 3:56 p.m., members of the public are reporting trees down in the Portage area. Remember, that is where we had the nearby 79 mile per hour wind gusts at the Kalamazoo airport. So it definitely would make sense we have reports of trees down. I want to pull up behind the scenes. I'll see if I can get the consumers map pulled up. See what power outages are looking like. Oh yeah, we definitely have our fair share of power outages in Southwest Michigan as a result of these storms. Plenty of power outages to go around as a result. And this will continue as these storms continue to move off to the east. That will continue to carry damaging wind and power outage potential. Couple of updates. We got a new severe thunderstorm. If you are in Ottawa, Allegan, and Van Buren counties, they are allowing this warning to expire. So if Allegan, Ottawa, and Van Buren counties, your severe weather threat has ended. But if you are in Ionia County, potentially, specifically central and southern Ionia County, you are now under a severe thunderstorm warning. This is a little bit longer form of a severe thunderstorm warning that goes until 6:15 p.m. Again, this is for central and southern Ionia County, excuse me. Ionia County. This is a new severe thunderstorm warning that goes until 6:15 p.m. Pulling up the warning text from the National Weather Service. Again, it does have the considerable damage threat tag for the potential of 70 mile per hour wind gusts. Pulling up the warning text from the National Weather Service. This was issued at 4:44 p.m. The National Weather Service in Grand Rapids has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for Ionia County in south central Michigan. Again, this is mainly central and southern Ionia County. This goes until 6:15 p.m. At 4:44 p.m., severe thunderstorms were located along a line extending from near JLR Ford International Airport to near Freeport to near Hastings, moving east at 45 miles per hour. Hazard is 70 mile an hour wind gusts. Source on this is radar indicated. And impact, expect considerable tree damage. Damage is likely to mobile homes, roofs, and outbuildings. Locations impacted include Ionia, Portland, Lake Odessa, Saranac, Sebowa, the Lyons area, Muir, Mulliken, Pewamo, and Clarksville. If you are in these areas for your protection, move to an interior room on the lowest floor of a building. These are potentially deadly storms. Seek shelter in an interior room on the lowest floor of a well-built structure. Abandon vehicles in search of a more substantial permanent structure. Stay away from windows. Again, that is enhanced wording from the National Weather Service as these storms continue to move off to the east. You have this report coming in just now. The Battle Creek Airport Observation Station. It's the Battle Creek. That's going to be the W.K. Kellogg Regional Airport. We just seen a gust of 51 knots. That is going to be 59 miles per hour. This was at 4:43. So just in the last few minutes, a 59 mile per hour gust near Battle Creek at the W.K. Kellogg Regional Airport. So again, very strong gusty winds in excess of 50, 60, 70, and even close to 80 miles per hour. Continue to occur with these storms as they continue to move off to the east. They are producing power outages. Again, in Southwest Michigan, I am seeing numerous power outages pop up on the Consumers Energy outage map, particularly south of I-96, where most of these outages are going to be. In Southwest Michigan, So again, if you are in any of these severe thunderstorm warnings, you should be taking them seriously, particularly in Kalamazoo and Calhoun counties. You are in this destructive tag severe thunderstorm warning. I do want to say in Kalamazoo County, if you are along and west of US 131, I will say the strongest part of these storms have passed off to your east now. I would anticipate a warning update potentially coming soon from the National Weather Service. But if you are along and west of US 131 in Kalamazoo County, these storms have passed you, the strongest part of them anyway. I would still remain indoors just for leftover lightning danger, but the strongest part of these particular storms have passed off to your east. This is mainly going to become a Calhoun County issue in the next few minutes. Again, these are warned for up to 80 miles per hour. And we did just have a nearly 60 mile per hour wind gust, a 59 mile per hour wind gust to be exact, be observed within the last few minutes at the Battle Creek Airport at the WK Kellogg Regional Airport. And again, take a look at our velocity product. We are seeing our area of higher winds stretching through Augusta, through Battle Creek, into Battle Creek, through Climax, right along M66 down to Athens. And also that's going to be heading into Marshall, to Concha, Marengo, Eckford, Albion, Homer as well, Burlington. If you're in these areas, this is a destructive tag severe thunderstorm warning. So at this point, I would treat it like a tornado warning and take your tornado precautions. What that looks like is you'll want to be in a basement if you've got one. If you do not have a basement, then you need to be going to that small interior room on the lowest floor of a building, preferably away from windows. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible until these storms pass. Again, we're also still watching severe thunderstorm warnings for V-cells out ahead of the line. We continue with severe thunderstorm warnings for southeastern Eaton, southern Ingham County, northern Jackson County, and then this additional severe thunderstorm warning for the majority of the rest of Jackson County. And we do have a new severe thunderstorm warning. It's going to be for the main line for Eaton County. We'll go over that in just a second. But taking a look at, these are the cells out ahead of the line. These have, in addition to the damaging wind threat of gusts potentially in excess of 70 miles per hour, these have a little bit more of a hail threat to them. I want to take a look at correlation coefficient. We're still seeing a bit of a signal for hail north of the Parma area. North of Parma, near Menard's Mill. It's just southwest of there. Just north of I-94 is where we're seeing our hail signal. Let me throw on hail tracker real quick. And we're still seeing an elevated signal for hail near the Parma area. I will say it has come down a little bit from where we were earlier with the hail signals. But still some signals for hail. We're seeing a hail signal near the Olivet area. That could be a signal for a little bit larger hail. Near the Olivet area. Let me go back to hail tracker. And further to the west, still seeing some signals for hail near the Coldwater and Bethel areas as well in Branch County. But once you get to the main line, our large hail threat, the large hail threat has less with this main line. It's going to be more of a small hail threat if we see hail. Look, we're seeing a signal of that just southwest of the Asira area. Levi is asking, is Plainwell good now? The Facebook Live stopped working for me. Yes, Plainwell, you are clear from the severe thunderstorm warning, so your severe threat has ended for now. Just be careful in the stratiform lane. On these stronger lines of storms, we could still get lightning behind these storms in the stratiform lane. But yes, your severe weather threat has ended in the Plainwell area. You have been dropped from the severe thunderstorm warning. Unless you are in the Kalamazoo County side, just south of Plainwell, technically you are still under this destructive tag severe thunderstorm warning. But even then, storms have passed well off to the east of Kalamazoo, or passing well off to the east of Kalamazoo County. If they haven't already passed, they will be gone from Kalamazoo County within the next few minutes. But if you're in Plainwell, yes, you are cleared. And I am seeing a report from Plainwell reports of trees and large branches down on roads in the Plainwell area. So again, these storms are producing damage in the forms of tree damage. We have power outages all over the place in southwest Michigan. So these are very, very strong storms moving across southwest Michigan, particularly along and south of I-96 is where the best threat continued to be. Mary is asking, will Hillsdale have hail? Is hail happening wherever a storm is? Thank you. Hillsdale, you're gonna want to watch this cell near Coldwater. We'll go back to our hail tracker real quick. We are still watching some signals for hail of these storms over the Coldwater area. That is going to be tracking off to the east and may eventually impact the Hillsdale area in the next little bit. I will go ahead, if we go back to reflectivity, I do want to do a storm track for you. For these storms off to the east, that's going to take it Quincy at 5:07, Allen at 5:19 p.m., Jonesville at 5:30 p.m. So Hillsdale, if these storms continue producing hail, we'll be in the Hillsdale area shortly after 5:30 at 5:33, at least according to this storm track. So that's an estimated time. Also, North Adams, Moscow, and Wheatland. North Adams at 5:44, Moscow at 5:48, and Wheatland at 5:57. I do want to say that if there is going to be a large hail threat, it is mainly going to be with these cells that have formed out ahead of the line, like this cell near Coldwater. I will say it is beginning to merge in with the main line. But for example, these cells near Jackson, across Jackson County, and even these out towards southern Eaton County. These are the ones where we're a little bit more worried about hail. Once you get back into the main line, that does not completely eliminate the hail threat, but the large hail probabilities tend to go down. Once you get into the main line, this will be more small hail and generally just heavy downpours. Our main concern with this main line, as it continues to track off to the east, will be damaging winds, potentially in excess of 70 to 80 miles per hour. Again, we do continue with this destructive tag, severe thunderstorm warning. Well, actually, as I say that, they did just go ahead and drop the destructive tag from it. It is back down to a considerable damage tag. There's still nothing to sneeze at. Still a considerable damage threat with these storms, and mainly eastern Kalamazoo County now, and really into Calhoun County is where we're continuing to see potential for damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour. I will note they do have the tornado possible tag now for our warning in Kalamazoo and Calhoun County. Excuse me, just a second. I'm going to get a drink of water. Okay, so, excuse me. Okay, so, as I was saying, this is mainly for eastern Kalamazoo and Calhoun County. My main concern really at this point is Calhoun County. If you're in Galesburg, if you're in Augusta, Climax, Pavilion, Vicksburg, you're still in the severe thunderstorm warning for a little bit longer. However, I do think our main threat is really passing into Calhoun County now. Just some leftover heavy downpours, still lightning in the area, so I would still be taking these rather seriously, especially in Calhoun County for 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Just still the confirmation of the earlier 58-mile-per-hour wind gusts, or 59-mile-an-hour wind gusts, I should say, to W.K. Kellogg Airport in Battle Creek. Again, I'm going to take a general reset of the radar situation. If you're just joining us here, we have been live for going on over an hour and a half now. 1 hour, 41 minutes, and 18 seconds. But we are continuing to track strong to severe thunderstorms that are moving across portions of West Michigan, particularly southern portions of West Michigan along and south of I-96 is where our best severe threat continues to be. Again, we are continuing with severe thunderstorm warnings for the potential winds in excess of 70 miles per hour. If you are north of I-96 or north of a Muskegon to Ithaca line, I am not seeing much to be concerned about in terms of severe weather, just some rain showers up in the heart. Down in Muskegon and Holland, just some rainfall, maybe some occasional rumbles of thunder, but we're not seeing much of a severe threat up here. Our severe threat really starts from Kent and Ionia counties and points south and east is where our severe threat continues to be. I'm going to take off radar just for a second. We do continue with a severe thunderstorm watch for the majority of our counties along and south of I-96 until 10 p.m. I do tend to think we will start to see this watch trimmed off to the east relatively soon. As these storms continue to pass off to the east, I do think we'll be seeing these watches begin to be trimmed off here in the not too distant future, I think. However, it does continue for all of our areas along and south of I-96 until 10 p.m. Putting our radar back up. And again, we'll start on our tour of our severe thunderstorm warnings, starting with our northern ones. We continue with severe thunderstorm warnings for Kent, along with Ionia counties. They are updating our warning for Kent County. Good news is for Kent County, they have, this is going to be southeastern Kent County now, they have dropped the considerable tag from the warning. It is back down to a base severe thunderstorm warning for the potential of 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Again, this is mainly going to be focused on southeastern Kent County now, so areas like Cascade Charter Township, Lowell Charter Township, the Gerald R. Ford International Airport area, Caledonia, Virginis Township. Just some of these areas are still under the severe thunderstorm warning for the potential 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Taking a look at radar, if there's going to be gusty winds in this general area, I'm not seeing really anything on velocity that's super concerning. That does not mean that gusty winds still can't be ongoing in this area. So again, winds up to 60 miles per hour will remain possible for the next 45 minutes in southeastern Kent County. So you'll still want to be remaining indoors in these areas in southeastern Kent County. Going over to Ionia County, this warning has a considerable tag on it. A considerable tag damage threat for 70. This continues for 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts. So areas like Saranac, Ionia, Portland, Lyons, Pewamo, Clarksville, and Lake Odessa, you're likely noticing the downpours. And let me click off of this because I do want to show you we are seeing this outflow boundary begin to surge from these storms as outflow boundary begin to surge. So Saranac, you likely notice the winds pick up before the rain does. That could be a sign that this northern edge of the line may begin to weaken with time. As the rain cool air gets out ahead of these storms, I'll tend to kind of cut them off and kind of reduce their intensity. So we may be seeing the northern edge of this line begin to weaken a little bit with time. But still, if you're in central and southern Ionia County, you should still be taking these storms seriously. You should still be in that sturdy structure, away from the windows, preferably on the lower floors until these storms pass. Updating our severe thunderstorm warning for Berry County. Berry County, they have dropped off the western and central portions of Berry County, so Middleville, Irving, or Ivering, Hastings, Orangeville, Prairieville, Freeport. You have been dropped from the severe thunderstorm warning now, so it continues for eastern portions of Berry County, so Woodland, Woodbury, Nashville, and in the Osira area. You are still in the severe thunderstorm warning for 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts. That continues for the next 40 to 45 minutes. If you are in Eaton County, we continue with a severe thunderstorm warning for all of Eaton County. This is going to be for 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts. This also has a considerable damage tag once again. Again, this is going to be for 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts and penny-size hail. And that warning continues until 6:15 p.m. So if you're in Vermontville, Calamo, Bellevue, Olivet, Charlotte, Chester, Potterville, Grand Ledge, Mulliken, and Sunfield, You're likely seeing potential wind gusts up to 70 miles per hour. And again, taking a look at velocities here on radar, we are seeing the best potential for those 50, 70 mile per hour winds if they are occurring. They're going to be near the through the Bellevue area, through Calamo, through Vermontville right now, heading into Sunfield. We're heading towards Charlotte, Potterville, Diamonddale, Grand Ledge, and also Eaton Rapids. I am seeing on the cell out ahead of the line, this could be a potential downburst signature between 5 Points Corner and Eaton Rapids. This could be a potential downburst signature, so that could be an area of damaging wind as well. And take a look at reflectivity. That is where we could be seeing a little bit of hail as well. Yeah, we also have severe thunderstorm warnings still for southern, also for southeastern Eaton County. This is an additional severe thunderstorm warning along with southern Ingham and also northern Jackson counties. This is a severe thunderstorm warning that continues for the potential quarter-size hail and 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts. I will say strongest part of that particular storm is really south in the Jackson County. But if you're in these areas, if you're in Mason, you're in Dansville, you're in Stockbridge, you're in Onondaga and Leslie, Springport, Tompkins, you definitely still want to remain indoors in that sturdy structure, as there's still potential for 70-mile-an-hour winds in this area. Back to the west in Kalamazoo and Calhoun counties, mainly Calhoun County at this point, I think is in the most imminent danger from this. But we still continue with a severe thunderstorm warning that it has the considerable damage tag for the next 25 minutes. It also has the tornado possible tag on it. In this case, quarter-size hail has been observed. That is likely this report near the Galesburg area of quarter-size hail. And also, we have 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts continue to be possible in these storms as well. Again, this is a considerable tag damage threat, severe thunderstorm warning. So you still want to be taking these seriously if you're in the Marshall area, if you're in Eckford, if you're in Burlington, Albion, Homer. You need to be taking these seriously. If you're in Battle Creek, these storms are beginning to pass off to your east now. See if I have access. There's a live cam I can pull up behind the scenes from Marshall. Marshall looks calm. All right, gusty winds are starting to be noted in the Marshall area. And taking a look at radar, we are seeing a little bit of a concerning signal for more of those destructive winds near the Marshall area, just southwest of Marshall. We are seeing 60 to 70 mile per hour winds being indicated on velocity in this area. Right near I-69 is where we're seeing this. Yeah, new severe thunderstorm warning coming in for Branch and Hillsdale County. I'll go take a look at that in just a second. But again, we are seeing indications of 60 to 70 mile an hour winds getting ready to move into the Marshall area. So again, if you're near Wright's Corners, if you're in Marshall, down towards Eckford and Marengo, you need to be taking these seriously. We are seeing elevated velocities, elevated signals of 60 to 70 mile an hour winds potentially being indicated in this area. Heading further south, we do have this new severe thunderstorm warning I do want to go over real quickly. This is a new severe thunderstorm warning. This is going to be for Branch and Hillsdale counties, Eastern Branch, and all of Hillsdale, most of Hillsdale County, excluding the far southern portions of Hillsdale County. This is a new severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect, that is going to be in effect for nickel-sized hail and 60 mile an hour wind gusts. This new warning is going to go until 6:30 p.m. 6:30 p.m. is a new severe, is for how long this new severe thunderstorm warning is in effect until. Let me pull up the warning text here from the National Weather Service. Get that up real quick. Okay. This was issued at 5:05 p.m. National Weather Service has issued a new severe thunderstorm warning in northern Indiana, has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for Eastern Branch County and Hillsdale County. Again, this goes until 6:30 p.m. and 5:05 p.m. A severe thunderstorm was located near the Quincy area or near Coldwater, moving off to the east at 20 miles per hour. 20 miles per hour is how fast this is moving off to the east. Hazardous is going to be 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and nickel-sized hail. Source on this is going to be radar indicated. Impact, expect damage to roofs, siding, and trees. Locations impacted include Coldwater, Hillsdale, Jonesville, Quincy, Litchfield, the Reading area, Long Lake, Jerome, Somerset, Cambria, Girard, the Pittsford area, Kinderhook, Moscow, Batavia, California, Ransom, North Adams, Montgomery, and Bear Lake. This includes Interstate 69 in Michigan between mile markers 2 and 21. So if you are in these areas for your protection, move to an interior room on the lowest floor of a building. Again, this is for 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and penny-sized hail. Good news is if you are in Western Branch and St. Joseph counties, they have canceled that severe thunderstorm warning. That severe thunderstorm warning has been canceled for Western Branch, I should say, in St. Joseph counties. If you're in Eastern Branch County, you are in this new severe thunderstorm warning. This does include Coldwater, does include Quincy, Algonquin, Kinderhook, and California. Let me take a look at a few of our other products on this severe thunderstorm warning. Take a look at velocities. We are seeing gusty winds being indicated, potentially near the Jonesville, Hillsdale areas, near Reading. And then take a look at our hail tracker as well, since it is indicating potential for nickel-sized hail. And we're seeing some signals for hail near the Litchfield, pretty much across this entire complex. We're seeing a few indications here and there of some of that hail potential up to nickel size in diameter near Litchfield, near Allen, near the Algonquin and Kinderhook areas. That's going to be moving into the Hillsdale area. So in addition to the damaging wind threat to 60 miles per hour, we're seeing some indications for hail in this area as well. Heading further to the north, we are seeing a little bit indication of some of that larger hail potential up to quarter size in diameter. We're seeing indications of that moving into the Jackson area. Right about now, going back to our reflectivity on this one. That sounds right over to Jackson area. I have the Marshall Brooks Memorial Fountain Cam behind the scenes. I do not have permission from the city of Marshall to show this on stream, but take a look at it behind the scenes. I can tell you definitely very gusty winds right now and heavy downpours in the Marshall area as these storms continue to move off to the east. Again, we do continue with this considerable severe thunderstorm warning for the Marshall area and all of Calhoun County for 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts, also the potential for quarter-size hail, and it does continue to have the tornado possible tag on it for potential of a spin-up tornado. Which, if there is going to be rotation, I am seeing that maybe near the Homer area, near the Eckford area, near Albion. I want to take a look at rotation tracker real quick on that. Relatively weak rotation being indicated in this area, but nonetheless a little bit of rotation that may potentially spin up a brief tornado or at the very least an enhanced area of damaging winds. That's going to be just north of the Homer area near Condit. That is going to be near M99 and M60 is where that's going to be. It looks like we got a new severe thunderstorm warning coming in for Clinton and Ingham counties. This is going to be for most of Clinton and most of Ingham County. This is a new severe thunderstorm warning. This is going to be another considerable tag severe thunderstorm warning for 70-mile-an-hour winds. So if you are in St. John's, if you are in Fowler, Duplain, Westphalia, Riley, DeWitt, Lansing, this includes the city of Lansing, Meridian, Okemos, Williamston, Delhi, Charter Township, Holt, Mason. If you're in these areas I'm calling out, you are under a considerable damage threat, severe thunderstorm warning. This is going to be for 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts is our main concern as this line continues to move in. I do want to pull up the warning text real quick from the National Weather Service. This warning was issued at 5:11 p.m. The National Weather Service in Grand Rapids has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for northern Ingham County and also Clinton County until 6:45 p.m. At 5:11 p.m., severe thunderstorms were located along a line extending from Saranac to near Portland to 8 miles north of Albion, moving east at 45 miles per hour. Hazard with this is going to be 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Source on this is going to be radar indicated. Impact, expect damage. Expect considerable tree damage. Damage is likely to mobile homes, roofs, and outbuildings. Locations impacted include Lansing, Mason, St. John's, East Lansing, Grand Ledge, Williamston, Elsie, Edgemont Park, DeWitt, the Capital Region International Airport area, Ovid, Weberville, Fowlerville, Westphalia, Eagle, Waukusta, and Okemos, Bell Oak, Bath, and also Holt. If you are in these areas, this is, again, an enhanced wording from the National Weather Service stating that these are potentially deadly storms. Seek shelter in an interior room on the lowest floor of a well-built structure. Abandon vehicles in search of a more substantial permanent structure. Stay away from windows. Again, this does include the city of Lansing. So, again, if you're in these areas I'm calling out right now, you need to be taking these seriously. Again, taking a look at radar here. I want to go to velocity. Our area of highest winds is moving through the Charlotte area right now, moving into Potterville, moving through Mulliken, moving through Grand Ledge, and then potentially towards Eagle as well, moving through Portland, is where we're seeing this as well. So we heading over towards potentially Westphalia, Fowler, Liley, St. John's, Duplain, and Ovid as well. Take a look at velocities. I am seeing 50 to 60, at least 50 to 60 mile an hour winds being indicated. Maybe some velocities approaching 70 miles per hour near the Charlotte area. Couple of updates. They are continuing a severe thunderstorm warning for far southeastern Kent County. This is really a small sliver of Kent County at this point. So Virginia's Township, Lowell Charter Township down towards Freeport. That very small section of Kent County, they are continuing the severe thunderstorm warning for 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Although I do think, looking at radar, strongest part of these storms are passing off to your east now. And then they are also updating our severe thunderstorm warning. Kalamazoo County, you have been dropped from the severe thunderstorm warning now, so the danger of severe weather in your area is passed in Kalamazoo County. And also western Calhoun County, so areas like Battle Creek, Athens, areas in and around Battle Creek and Athens, you have been dropped from the severe thunderstorm warning. They are continuing this severe thunderstorm warning for central and eastern Calhoun County. That warning will continue for the next 15 minutes or so. They are maintaining the tornado possible tag along with the considerable damage threat for 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts. They are going observed on this for the winds here on this warning. And they have added this text now. This is a dangerous situation. These storms are producing widespread wind damage northeast of Battle Creek. Seek shelter now inside a sturdy structure and stay away from windows. Torrential rainfall is also occurring with these storms and may lead to flash flooding. Do not drive your vehicle through flooded roadways. So this is a dangerous situation ongoing across eastern Calhoun County, and that's going to be heading into Jackson County here soon. So take a look at velocity here. A lot of what I'm seeing continues to be straight line wind. There is a tornado possible tag. I'm just not really seeing. We'll go to storm relative just to double check. I will say if there is going to be any rotation, it's going to be more east into Jackson County at this point. But a lot of what I'm seeing here is straight line wind, which is still dangerous. At the end of the day, guys, wind is wind. It does not matter if it's spinning or if it's straight line. It's going to still cause damage. So you still want to take these storms seriously as they continue to move off to the east towards the US 127 corridor. I do want to do a few updated storm tracks. It has been a while since I did that, so start tracking with this northern portion of the line. As that moves off to the east, around 45 miles per hour. Let me zoom in, see if I can't get a few more locations. These storms are arriving in the Eagle area at 526. However, you will notice this outflow boundary starting to get ahead of the storms. So Eagle, you're probably noticing the winds start to pick up right now. Same goes for Grand Ledge. But Eagle at 526, the Capital Region International Airport area, north side of Lansing at 5:39 p.m. DeWitt at 5:41 p.m. We have Bath at 5:49 p.m. Lanesburg at 5:57 p.m. This is eventually going to take it in the Shiawassee County shortly after 6 p.m. Bennington at 6:05 p.m. And those additional locations are for Shiawassee County. Generally, after 6 p.m., these should be shifting into this section of the line anyway. Should be shifting into Shiawassee County. Do another storm track. I'll go a little further south to get Lansing into there. Kron on Facebook is asking about Lansing. Lansing, these storms will be arriving in the next little bit here. This track here says 5:39 p.m. So I would say around 5:30 or so is when these storms should be arriving into Lansing. Lansing at 5:39, Meridian Charter Township at 5:48 p.m. We have Williamston at 5:56 p.m. Perry at 6:03 p.m. Fowlerville at 6:10 p.m. And that should take it more in the Shiawassee and Livingston counties at that point as well. Going a bit further south, we'll do another storm track. This is going to be for the main line of storms with the main damaging wind threat. It's going to take it into Onondaga at 5:29 p.m. You're likely noticing things start to pick up right now, though. In the Onondaga area, Leslie at 5:38 p.m., Dansville at 5:49 p.m., Stockbridge at 5:55 p.m., Fowlerville at 6:07 p.m. All right, hold on. Let me reset that. We'll go a bit further south again. Track this line off to the east. Let me track that. Track this off to the east. Let me double check that storm motion. It's giving me the wrong storm motion. Hold on. Just go a bit further west. That should fix it. I'll take it. So hold on. Let me reset again. We just got a new warning update, so I just want to make sure I have the correct information. They are updating the severe thunderstorm warning for Calhoun County. They have dropped more of Calhoun County. So Marshall area have been dropped from this warning. They have also dropped a considerable tag from it. Now going 1-inch hail and 60-mile-an-hour winds for the next 10 minutes or so across eastern Calhoun County. So areas like Albion, Eckford, and Homer, you're still in the severe thunderstorm warning for potential 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail for the next 10 minutes or so. But what I was trying to do is use this storm motion, moving east at 60 miles per hour. So we'll track this off to the east, update the storm motion to 60 miles per hour. That's going to take it into Spring Arbor, Jackson. Spring Arbor at 5:29 p.m. It's moving in right about now, though. Jackson area at 5:37 p.m. The Leone area at 5:44 p.m. Waterloo Village at 5:52 p.m. Sharon Township at 5:54 p.m. Sylvan Township at 5:54 p.m. At which point these storms will be moving into Washtenaw County and potentially southern Livingston County as well. There is also this additional cell near the Leone area that might be carrying a little bit more of a hail threat with it. That will be moving out and into Washtenaw County here in the not too distant future. If you're in Leone, you're in Waterloo Village, you're in Napoleon, you're likely seeing a little bit more of a hail threat with that cell, in addition to the damaging wind threat. Heading further south, we're doing one final storm track. We for V storms near the Hillsdale area. It's moving into Wheatland shortly. Let me get. But again, if it's going to be Wheatland shortly, Pittsford, Ransom, and use an updated storm option, please. Again, our main threat here is going to be damaging winds. Just taking a look at radar. This is on the Grand Rapids radar. We're seeing an enhanced area of damaging winds. Near the North Adams and Wheatland area, we're seeing indications for 60 to 70 mile an hour winds. Further north, we're seeing similar indications near the Concord area and also near just north of the Albion area, near the Devereux area, I think that is. I apologize, I mispronounced that. That is an enhanced area of winds up to 70 miles per hour. Seeing indications of 60 to 70 mile an hour winds as well, up through Eaton Rapids, up through Potterville, up through Grand Ledge and Eagle. We're continuing to see the best indications for those wind gusts up to 70 miles per hour. If you are in Kent County, you have been dropped from the severe thunderstorm warning. Kent County, your severe thunderstorm warning has been canceled, so there's no severe thunderstorm warning for Kent County now. We still have Ionia County on the board. We still have Eaton County on the board, along with Calhoun, Ingham, Jackson, Branch, Hillsdale, and Calhoun counties. Those are all of our counties still on the board for severe thunderstorm warnings as these storms continue to approach the US 127 corridor. Again, taking a look behind the scenes at the Consumers Energy outage map. In fact, I could try and get that popped in here. Actually, give me just 1 second to do that. Also, a heads up, this is outside of our coverage area, but if you're in Wenaway and Washtenaw counties, the National Weather Service and the National Weather Service in Detroit Pontiac has issued this new severe thunderstorm warning that is going to be for 60 mile an hour wind gusts and quarter size hail. So give me just a second while I work on popping in my screen here, because I can go ahead and show you the Consumers Energy outage map. Just a second to get that loaded in here. And okay, so you'll see that pop in on the left side of the screen here shortly. We'll go over that in just a second. A few more updates to pass along. They have updated the severe thunderstorm warning for Ionia County. They have dropped off most of Ionia County, mainly the far southeastern portions of Ionia County now. Are still in this considerable damage threat, severe thunderstorm warning for 70 mile an hour winds. 70 mile an hour, they are going to observe will be 70 mile an hour winds. So likely 70 mile an hour winds ongoing near the Portland area. That's going to be tracking primarily into southern Clinton County, I think. So areas like DeWitt, Eagle, the Capital Region International Airport area, and north side of Lansing. Speaking of north side of Lansing, I want to take a look at that little kink in the line that's developed. We might be seeing a little bit. Take a look at storm relative velocity. We are seeing maybe a little bit of weak rotation being indicated on the southwest side of Lansing, near the Wodemar Nature Center, near Lansing Road, near Waverly and Jolly Road. Kind of went away, still maybe a little bit near the Colonial Village area now. Not necessarily a tornado, but likely enhanced damaging straight line winds being indicated, especially on the south side of Lansing now. Still got this pocket near Grand Ledge and Eagle that's going to be moving into Lansing as well over the next few minutes. So again, you're in the Lansing area, you need to be taking cover right now. You need to be in that sturdy building, preferably on the lower floors. I would also be away from the windows. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible and let these storms pass on through. In Eaton County now, in Ingham County, just east of Eaton Rapids, I am seeing an indication of 70 mile an hour winds potentially. Just east of Eaton Rapids, that's going to be heading towards Mason, towards Eden, and North Aurelius, also Dansville. Seeing pockets of damaging winds near Onondaga as well. So anywhere along this entire line, we could be seeing indications of 70 mile an hour winds in pockets. So we want to be taking these storms very seriously. if you are in any of these severe thunderstorm warnings. In fact, we do just have a report coming in now. This is going to be from the Moscow area in Hillsdale County. Train spotter reporting 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts are occurring in that area. Small tree limbs are also down 1 to 2 inches in diameter. So if you are in any of these severe thunderstorm warnings, you should be taking these seriously, and you should be taking cover. Yeah, a lot of new information here. Pine Creek, 3 miles to the northeast of Pine Creek, and this is going to be in Calhoun County. This is it right here, most likely. Yep, near the Joppa community. We have a report of a large tree down at 4:49 p.m. This is from a train spotter. Back to the consumers map. And so these storms have had a history of producing wind damage. What I do want to show you guys real quick, I do see we have an update coming in to for our warning in Branch Hillsdale County. We'll go over that in just a second. But this is the Consumers Energy outage map, and as you can see, we got scattered and numerous power outages across the southwest Michigan, especially along and south of I-96. As these storms continue to move off to the east, we do have power outages being reported in quite a few areas. Let me go to a county view so we can see just how many people are out of power. Berry County is one of our particularly hard-hit counties at 34%. 34% of Consumers Energy customers in Berry County are without power. In Hillsdale County, 18.2% of customers in Hillsdale County are currently without power. In Van Buren County, 66% of Consumers Energy customers are currently without power. In St. Joseph County, 29% of Consumers Energy customers are currently without power. In Eaton County, we have 11% of Consumers Energy customers currently without power. Calhoun County, 14%. In Kalamazoo County, about 14%, 13.8, 14% or so. In Allegan County, about 10% of customers are without power. In Kent County, 1%. Ionia County, 0.1. And Clinton County, about 0.5. So again, outages do continue to increase as these storms continue to move off to the east. So again, if you're ahead of these storms, and if you are not in cover, you should be taking cover right now. As we have destructive storms, very strong storms with a history of producing damaging winds moving to the east across the area. Particularly near and south of I-96, where the best damaging wind threat is going to continue to be. So if you're in Lansing, these storms are moving in as I speak to you here. You need to be taking cover. Moving into Leslie. Also through Tompkins into Jackson right now. You're likely noticing the winds start to pick up. Let me go back to radar on the main scene here. And again, Jackson, down through Hillsdale, Pittsford. I do think within the next hour or two, I think these storms will be out of our hair. As these storms continue to move off to the east, I do think within the next hour or two. So probably by 6:30, 7 o'clock at the latest. I do anticipate these storms having moved off to the east. Let's see how long our warnings go. Our severe thunderstorm warning for Ingham and Jackson goes until 6:45. I do see 6 o'clock for Jackson County. So I do think by 6:45, 7 o'clock, these storms will be off to our east, and that's probably going to reduce our severe threat for the most part for tonight. There may be additional showers and thunderstorms that may occur later tonight. However, I do think if that does happen, I do think the severe threat will be relatively lower compared to what it is right now, if it does occur. Remember, these storm patterns and this kind of setup we have are relatively difficult to predict in advance. So, but again, we do have storms right now we are watching, as I have been live here for over 2 hours now. If you are just tuning in with us, I'm Jacob Mountain, live here in West Michigan weather. We do continue to track strong to severe thunderstorms with a history of producing damaging winds across mainly southern portions of our area along and south of I-96. They are continuing to track off to the east now towards the US 127 corridor, primarily near and south of St. John's along the US 127 corridors where we are tracking. This line is strong to severe thunderstorms with a history of producing wind damage. We do have numerous power outages ongoing along and south of I-96 right now. And they will only continue to increase as these storms move off to the east. If these storms have passed, and if you're out ahead of these storms and you have storm reports to pass along to us as these storms pass on by, please do feel free to let us know. My source right now, we'll bring that back up later. Let me hold up. All right, I'm going to put the link in chat to our website where you can submit storm reports. If you have storm reports to pass along to us, whether it be damage reports or if you happen to have a wind gust report or any kind of report, storm report to pass along to us, please feel free to let us know. You can post them in the comments of the live stream. We are watching chat here. And also on our website at www.westmichiganweather.net/report is where you can submit those storm reports to us. If you wish, we would greatly appreciate those storm reports if you can do so safely. I don't want you going out in the middle of the storm to get us a wind report or something like that. I'd rather see a damage report after the fact. The safety is always paramount when it comes to this. So, again, if you can do so safely, we do greatly appreciate those storm reports. And it looks like we do have a tornado warning coming in now for portions of Ingham County. This is a new tornado warning. Our first tornado warning of the evening, in fact, has been issued now for portions of Ingham County. This is going to be for portions of central Ingham County. This is a new tornado warning that has been issued. This is going to go until 6:15 p.m. This is a new tornado warning for portions of Ingham County. So if you are in Mason, Williamston, Dansville, also Holt, Delhi Charter Township, if you are in Weberville, the Vantown community, Williamston, Bell Oak, if you're along I-96, if you are in this red polygon here, your phones have likely went off for this new tornado warning that has been issued until 6:15 p.m. This is radar indicated rotation. But if you are in this red polygon here, you need to respect the polygon and you need to be taking your tornado precautions right now. By tornado precautions, I mean you need to be in a small interior room. If you have a basement, you need to be going there right now. If you do not have a basement, you need to be going to a small interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy structure, preferably away from windows. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. If you are in a mobile home or if you are in a vehicle in this tornado warning polygon, you need to be evacuating those and find more substantial structure. So if you are in Mason, Dansville, Williamston, you need to be taking cover right now for a potential tornado. Let's go to our velocity product and then we'll go over the warning text. Let me go ahead and do storm relative velocity. I do think potential rotation is kind of a messy. Let me see if maybe the Detroit radar is a little bit of a better view. I will say if there is going to be rotation, it's likely near the Mason areas where we're seeing this potential rotation. If there is going to be a tornado, it's going to be near the Mason area. But even if there's not a tornado, there is likely widespread significant wind damage ongoing as a result of these storms. Reading off the warning text from the National Weather Service, this tornado warning was issued at 5:34 p.m. The National Weather Service in Grand Rapids has issued a tornado warning for central Ingham County and south central Michigan until 6:15 p.m. At 5:34 p.m., severe thunderstorms capable of producing both tornadoes and extensive straight-line wind damage We're located near the Mason area, moving east at 55 miles per hour. Hazard is going to be a tornado, potential tornado. Source is going to be radar indicated. Rotation, impact, flying debris will be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be damaged or destroyed. Damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles will occur. Tree damage is likely. These dangerous storms will be near the Williamston area around 5:40 p.m. If you are in this tornado warning polygon, take cover now. Move to a basement or an interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. Avoid windows. If you are outdoors, in a mobile home, or in a vehicle, move to the closest substantial shelter and protect yourself from flying debris. So again, this is an active tornado warning that is in effect for Ingham County. Take a look at our rotation tracker. Again, we're not really seeing a definitive rotation signal, but there's enough of the signal for the National Weather Service to opt to go over tornado warning. Take a look at both the Grand Rapids and also the Detroit radars. We're not seeing a definitive signal yet. But if you are in this area nonetheless, even if there's not a tornado, likely damaging straight line winds are ongoing. Let me go up and tilt. Make sure we're not missing something. Okay, I see now. Going up and tilt. We go back to velocity header, and I can see it now going up and tilt. We're going up to, we'll say 1.3. It's in the up mid levels. We're seeing some potential rotation near the Mason area. Again, potential rotation near the Mason area, heading towards Dansville, near Williamston, heading towards Williamston and Weberville as well. And once again, if there's not a tornado on the ground, there's damaging straight line winds ongoing, potentially over 70 miles per hour. So you need to be taking this seriously. You need to be taking cover in the tornado warning area. Heading back north, we're going to continue with our severe thunderstorm warnings that are in effect for Clinton County, Clinton County and Ingham counties. This warning continues for 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Likely 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts over the Lansing area right now. Heading through DeWitt, Meridian, Eagle, Riley. Heading towards potentially the St. John's and Lanesburg areas. And heading further south, we continue with severe thunderstorm warnings for Jackson and southern Ingham counties as well for 70-mile-an-hour winds. In Hillsdale County, you remain under a severe thunderstorm warning for 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. However, the worst of those storms are likely to be passing to the east of Hillsdale County in the not too distant future. We do have severe thunderstorm warnings also in effect outside of our coverage area, but for Washtenaw and Lenawee counties, those are considerable severe thunderstorm warnings as well for 70-mile-an-hour winds. Updating our severe thunderstorm warning they have dropped Eaton County from this particular warning. They have dropped Eaton County. It is mainly Ingham and Jackson County. It does expire in the next 4 minutes. We may need to see a new warning be issued to replace this one. This is going to be for southern Ingham and northern Jackson counties. This is for 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts. So this entire line continues to be capable of 60 to 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts. And remember, we do have a tornado warning now in effect for central portions of Ingham County. If you are in this tornado warning, you need to be taking cover in that basement if you've got one. If you do not have a basement, then I need you to be heading to a small interior room on the lowest floor of the building. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. And protect your head and neck from flying debris. As this continues to move off to the east, we'll go to velocity again. Again, we don't see there may be potential rotation near the Dansville area, but a lot of what I'm seeing here personally, I'll go up and tilt just to make sure I'm not missing something. Again, a lot of what I'm seeing here at the lower levels, although this is a few thousand feet up from both the Grand Rapids and Detroit next rad radars. We'll go over to Detroit. A lot of what I'm seeing here is damaging straight line winds. However, you'll still want to take it seriously even if it's not a tornado. Because these damaging straight line winds, once you get up to 70, maybe 80 miles per hour, we're seeing indications of 70 to 80 mile an hour winds potentially. Over 80 miles per hour in central Ingham County, near Mason, near the Meridian area heading into Williamston. It's where we continue to have indications on the Detroit radar. I can go to the Grand Rapids radar and it's showing a similar story. I will say the Detroit radar is a little bit lower level of a scan, so we'll go with that. But 70 to 80 miles per hour plus velocity has been indicated across portions of Ingham County, especially between Mason and I-96. So Williamston, Weberville, Dansville as well. You need to be watching this as well. Taking a look at storm relative velocity here, I will see maybe a little bit of rotation near the just southwest of Williamston, and maybe another area of rotation near Dansville, where I'm seeing some potential weak rotation. But even tornadic or not, these are likely considerable to destructive straight line winds ongoing across portions of Ingham County. So if you're in Williamston, you're in Dansville, you're in Mason, you're in Weberville, if you're driving along Interstate 96 between Lansing and the Ingham Livingston County line, you need to be getting off the road, pull off at the next exit if you can, and find a substantial structure to seek shelter in. And also, if you're in mobile homes or vehicles, if you're in Weberville and Williamston, if you're in Weberville especially, the damaging winds are moving into Williamston now. If you're in Weberville, you still have a couple minutes. You need to evacuate those mobile homes, and you need to find more substantial shelter. Whether that be a neighbor's or a friend's house, or if you have to go something like a gas station, convenience store, or a retail store, or any kind of substantial structure, you need to be taking cover right now in this tornado warning. Also, for those of you that might be watching in Livingston and Shiawassee County, they have issued a new severe thunderstorm warning to the National Weather Service in Detroit. This is a considerable tag severe thunderstorm warning. For 70 mile an hour winds, that's going to include all of Livingston County and southern and central portions of Shiawassee County from M21 and point south. So that's a new severe thunderstorm warning there as well. I will say in Clinton County, back to our severe thunderstorm warning further to the north. We continue with this severe thunderstorm warning. Well, for a general damage and straight line wind threat for central and southern Clinton County, along with northern and central Ingham County. This continues until 6:45 p.m. for 70 mile an hour wind gusts. That is outside of our tornado warning that we do have in effect. We do not have a warning for southern Ingham County, but nonetheless, still potential gusty to damaging winds could still be ongoing near the Leslie and Stockbridge areas. So I'd still be taking shelter in these areas, even though they do not have an official warning yet. We do have a warning that continues for Jackson County for the next 10 to 15 minutes for 70 mile an hour wind gusts. We do have the tornado possible tag on this warning as well. Taking a look at velocities from the Detroit radar. Our highest velocities are right near the Leone area right now. We're seeing 50 to 60 mile an hour winds being indicated. And then we also still have warnings in effect for Hillsdale County, although I am going to go on a limb and say the strongest part of those particular storms will be moving out of Hillsdale County relatively soon and into Wenaway County. I do want to say we do have a severe thunderstorm warning near the Angola, Indiana area. That may eventually require a warning for southern portions of Hillsdale County. We'll see what the National Weather Service in northern Indiana does shortly. We could see a new warning come in for far southern Hillsdale County. So areas like Camden and Waldron, near the state line, is where I'm talking. Whereas I'm talking about this concern, that warning is in effect for 60 mile an hour wind gusts and penny size hail. A nickel-sized hail, actually, I should say. So just something to be aware of there. However, our main concern right now is our tornado warning that is in effect for central portions of Ingham County. So tornado sirens are likely going off, at least in central portions of Ingham County, for this potential tornado. We do not have any reports of a confirmed tornado on the ground. I have not seen anything confirmed. Hopefully it stays that way. But at the very least, even if there's not a tornado down, we are seeing indications of likely damaging to destructive straight line winds in excess of 70 miles per hour moving across central Ingham County. So areas like Williamson, you're likely in the thick of this right now with the damaging winds. Mason, heading into Weberville over the next few minutes. Eventually, this is going to move out of Ingham County and more into Livingston County. But still, if you're along I-96 right now, you should not be driving along Interstate 96 between Lansing and the Ingham Livingston County line. Conditions are not great out there. Even without the tornado, definitely damaging, destructive straight line winds are ongoing. Potentially destructive in this area. Now we continue to see indications on both the Detroit and on the Grand Rapids radar on velocities of winds potentially in excess of 70 miles per hour. Strongest winds right now are going to be passing through the Williamson area. We'll be moving into Weberville here in the next couple of minutes, if not picking up already. Taking a look at rotation tracker. They are updating our tornado warning. So if you are in Mason, if you are on southeast side of Lansing, if you're near Holt, you have been dropped from the tornado warning. They are continuing the tornado warning for areas like Meridian. If you're near the Michigan State University campus, you're on the northwestern edge of this tornado warning. If you are in Williamston, you are in Bell Oak, you are in Weberville, the Pollock area, Dansville, the Vantown community as well. You are still in this tornado warning that does continue for the next 25 minutes. We continue with radar indicated rotation, which we have our rotation tracker up. We're seeing a few areas of potential concern, like near the Pollock area, near Vantown, south of I-96, north of Dansville. I'll take a look at it from our other radar source. And again, we don't see a definitive screaming signal of strong rotation for a potential tornado. However, going back to velocity, even if there's not a tornado, there's still likely damaging straight line winds, potentially over 70 miles an hour, going in the Williamson area, in the Weberville area. And now we'll be heading through Weberville and into Livingston and potentially southern Shiawassee counties as well over the next little bit. We do continue with severe thunderstorm warnings for Clinton County. However, I am looking at velocity. I am not seeing a definitive signal for damaging winds if I go back to velocity. Not seeing a definitive signal. There could still be some gusty winds ongoing in DeWitt, Lanesburg, St. John's area. However, I do tend to think the strongest portion is going to be mainly southern Clinton County, if that is going to be ongoing at this point. I do want to head further south. They are continuing our severe thunderstorm warning for Jackson County. Jackson County, you do continue with a severe thunderstorm warning remaining for eastern portions of the county. They're continuing with the considerable tag for the next 8 minutes or so for 70-mile-an-hour winds. Taking a look at Detroit radar velocity. Maybe still some gusty winds near Grass Lake. I can actually go take a look at our terminal Doppler River radar in southwestern Wayne County. That helps provide a little bit lower scan. And we're still seeing winds potentially 60, 70 miles per hour. East of the Leone, Napoleon, and Brooklyn areas. And it's really quickly going to be moving off to the east and into Washtenaw County. However, still seeing potential winds up to 60 to 70 miles an hour across eastern Jackson County. Samuel McCarthy on YouTube is asking anything to worry about in Greenville. Greenville, you are not in any imminent severe weather danger. Just some rainfall ongoing in the Greenville area. There has been occasional rumbles of thunder and a stratiform rain behind these storms. However, we do not anticipate any severe weather in the Greenville area. Those severe storms have luckily stayed to the south of Greenville. And really, the severe storms today have been along and south of I-96. Has really been where the severe weather has been today. And these storms are getting ready to clear the US 127 corridor in the not too distant future. So I do think over the next little bit, we will begin to wrap up our severe weather threat, at least for right now in West Michigan. We still got to get through the next little bit, and we still have active warnings in effect for Clinton, Ingham, and Jackson and Hillsdale County in terms of our severe thunderstorm warnings. We do also still have a tornado warning in effect for Ingham County for the next 20 minutes or so. Taking a look at our velocities here again, I'm not seeing a definitive area of rotation really in the tornado warning. A lot of what I'm seeing here is damaging straight line winds, but it could be intense straight line winds in excess of 70 miles per hour heading through the Weberville area right now, passing through Williamston, passing through Dansville. And we'll take a look at it from the Grand Rapids radar. Again, similar story. There might be a little bit of rotation potentially. Just south of Weberville is where we may be seeing just a little bit of rotation. Just east of Dansville, south of Weberville, where we're seeing our potential rotation. However, we're not really seeing anything extremely concerning in terms of a tornado threat. But remember, if you got 70, 80 mile an hour damaging straight line winds, that's just as strong as a weak tornado. So you still want to be taking this seriously. I would treat it like a tornado regardless. If there's a tornado on the ground, treat it as there is a tornado warning. You want to treat it seriously regardless. You need to be taking your tornado precautions. If you're not already in shelter in the Williamston and Weberville areas, you need to be taking shelter right now. Updating our severe thunderstorm warning for Clinton and Ingham counties. They are continuing the severe thunderstorm warning with the tornado possible tag for Clinton and Ingham counties. Again, tornado potential is primarily going to be Ingham County, where the tornado warning is. Let me read off the updated text real quick. Severe thunderstorms were located along a line. This was at 5:54 p.m. Severe thunderstorms were located along a line extending from St. John's to near Lanesburg to near Gregory, moving east at 45 miles per hour. Hazard continues to be 70 mile an hour wind gusts as these continue to move off to the east. So if you're in St. John's, you're in Duplain, you're in DeWitt, you're in Lansing, you're in Meridian, you're in Hazlitt, you're in Okemos, East Lansing, Bath as well. You should still continue to be in shelter ahead of these severe thunderstorms for the likely continued potential for damaging straight line winds as they continue to move off to the east. No, Sam. We have not had any confirmed reports of any tornadoes on the ground today. I have received plenty of reports of damaging straight line winds, and I'll pop up the consumers map here. Actually, here in just a second. Just a second to pop that back up. We are continuing to see numerous power outages as I pop that up on the screen. These outages are mainly going to be along and south of I-96. It's where we're seeing the majority of the outages so far. Really along and south of I-96 is where we've been seeing the majority of the power outages, and a lot of it in this case is going to be the damaging straight line winds. Again, we've had damaging straight line wind reports up to around 80 miles per hour. Remember a little bit earlier, that would have been around, scroll down and find it again. We did have a 79 mile per hour wind gust earlier. At 4:05 p.m., we had a damaging straight line wind gust of 79 miles per hour at the Kalamazoo Airport near Portage, in between Kalamazoo and Portage, an observed 79 mile per hour wind gusts in that area earlier this afternoon at around 4:05 p.m. And we've had several reports of 60 to 70 mile an hour winds in addition to that. So reports of straight line winds in excess of 60 to 80 mile per hour wind reports, and that has contributed to numerous power outages, especially along and south of I-96. Yes, K-Bay, this is heading in the general direction of Detroit. There's severe thunderstorm warnings just to the west of Detroit and Washtenaw and Letaway counties. I would anticipate warnings being issued soon for the Detroit metro as well. Taking a look at some of our outage numbers, some of our top counties without power include Hillsdale County, where 37.4% of the consumer's energy customers are without power. Berry County at 34.1%. Actually, let me pull up a different source. Just a second to get that pulled up. I'm going to go to poweroutage.us. See, Michigan's the top state with over 150,000 customers statewide without power. Again, some of our top counties right now without power include Berrien County, where over 20,000 customers are without power. Kalamazoo County, where over 19,000 customers are without power. Van Buren County, where over 17,000 customers are without power. In Ingham County, we have over 15,000 customers without power. Jackson County with over 13,000 customers without power. Berry County with over 10,000 approaching 11,000 customers without power. Calhoun County with over 9,500 customers out. And Hillsdale County with over 7,000 customers without power. So again, numerous power outages are occurring with these storms, particularly along and south of I-96. Is where the greatest damaging wind has been and will continue to be in our area. Although it is beginning to exit our area, it will be more of a southeast lower Michigan issue in the short term. All right, taking a look at our current radar, we do have a couple of active warnings still. The Hillsdale County year warning has been dropped. And also same goes for Jackson County year warning has been dropped. So that leaves our severe thunderstorm warning and tornado warning that remains in effect for portions of Ingham and Clinton counties, particularly northeastern Ingham County and most of Clinton County still. However, I do think East Lansing, Coley is asking, is East Lansing good now? I will remain indoors just for the next few minutes. There's still lightning in the area at the very least. However, yes, I do think the strongest parts of the storm are exiting the area now and is heading really more into Shiawassee and Livingston County. I would still remain indoors for the next little bit in East Lansing. You're still technically in the severe thunderstorm warning. And we also have Clinton County as well, still in the severe thunderstorm warning. However, I think the strongest part of the line is really heading into Livingston and Shiawassee counties here. I do have a damage report passed along from Lansing. Emergency management is reporting tree and power line down. This is 1 mile south of Lansing. So this is in the area of Washington and Holmes Road, kind of in that general area. We got trees and power line down in that area. Reports of trees down and power outages throughout the county. So plenty of power outages in Ingham County as well as a result of these, and tree damage as a result of these severe thunderstorms. And we do continue with a tornado warning for the next 12 minutes in Ingham County. So Dansville, Williamston, Weberville, I will remain in shelter just for a few more minutes. However, I do think the strongest part of this storm, including any potential rotation, is really passing off to the east. In fact, I think they just dropped the tornado. Tornado warning has been dropped now for go back to radar on the main source. Tornado warning has been dropped for Ingham County now. So that is going to leave only our severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Ingham and Clinton counties for the next 41 minutes. Although I am starting to think that may potentially be canceled a little bit early as well. But we'll stick around until that warning is canceled. Just taking a look behind the scenes here. Okay. Just scenes at some things. Okay. So again, we still have one active severe thunderstorm warning. If you're still with us here, we have been live now for going on 3 hours. You're sticking around. So K-Bay, I know you're in the Detroit area. I would go to Michigan Storm Chasers. They are another good source for live coverage statewide. We primarily cover West Michigan, so that's gonna be areas along and west of U.S. So, what I mean by West Michigan, I'll outline real quick. It's gonna be this general area that we cover. So, pretty much, I know it's kind of a rough outline, but this is the general area we cover. So areas along and south of US 10, along and west of US 127, and down towards the state line is the general area we cover. As you head into southeast lower, Michigan Storm Chasers would be a good source to go to. However, I will say that Wayne County and Monroe counties, you are now under severe thunderstorm warnings for 70-mile-an-hour winds. So now would be the time you should be taking cover in Wayne. And Monroe counties, this does include the city of Detroit. Passing along an update. If you are in Berrien, Branch, Cass, Hillsdale, and St. Joseph counties in Michigan, this is going to be our state line counties. You have been dropped from the severe thunderstorm warning now. Not the severe thunderstorm warning, I should say the severe thunderstorm watch. Excuse me, it's been kind of a long few hours here, so. But again, they are also updating our severe thunderstorm warning. For Clinton and Ingham counties, it is now primarily including small sections of Ingham and Clinton counties. So if you're in Williamston, you're in Weberville, you're in Hazlet, East Lansing, you have been dropped from the severe thunderstorm warning. Going back up towards east side of St. John's, over towards Duplain, Ovid, and Elsie. They are continuing the severe thunderstorm warning for the next 38 minutes. Just for a little bit leftover potential for damaging wind gusts up to 70 miles per hour. Excuse me while I get another quick sip of water. Okay, so, excuse me. Okay, so again, this is our only severe thunderstorm warning in our area. At this point, is going to be for Eaton and Ingham counties. Not Eaton, excuse me, Clinton and Ingham counties. Clinton and Ingham counties is our last severe thunderstorm warning, after which I do think we can begin to wrap up our severe weather threat. for this evening. Taking a general look at the situation behind the severe thunderstorm line, we're just looking at stratiform rain. You could sometimes get rumbles of thunder behind the line in the stratiform rain. However, that's not severe or anything, just going to be a loud rumble of thunder behind these storms. And then behind that, we are watching additional showers and thunderstorms that are beginning to form to the west. We will keep an eye on these for the overnight hours. However, I do not think these will have as big of a severe threat as we're looking at right now. And as exiting our area, these will not have as big of a severe threat if they do make it into here for tonight. We'll keep an eye on them though nonetheless, but I do not think those will have as big of a severe weather threat if they make it here that the ones that are now exiting our area have produced. Passing along from the Gobbles area or Gobles in Van Buren County, a train spotted reporting multiple trees and limbs down in the area. That's been the general theme today. Lots of tree limbs down, lots of power lines down. Again, that is producing numerous power outages, particularly along and south of I-96. Back to our severe thunderstorm warning. Just taking another look at that real quick. Radar, velocity. Again, I am not really seeing maybe some leftover gusty wind potential in northeastern Ingham County. So areas like Williamston and Weberville towards Hazlet. I'm still seeing some pockets of 50 to 60 mile an hour velocities potentially. But then really into Clinton County, I'm just not really seeing much to be super concerned about. Nonetheless, there still could be gusty wind potential, but I'm not really seeing much to be really concerned about in terms of velocity. And I do think we'll be able to really get this warning let go here soon, at which point we will begin to kind of wrap up our live coverage. Let me pull my video source back up. In case you missed it, oops, source. There we go. In case you missed it earlier on our live stream, give me just a second to take a poll. Miscellaneous source. This is in the South Haven earlier. If you missed our live stream earlier, we had our own Jonah Drake, co-founder at West Michigan Weather. He was out chasing these storms earlier as they moved on shore. If you missed our stream earlier, we had a big shelf cloud in the South Haven area as these storms moved in. Here's what that shelf cloud looked like in case you missed our live stream. Again, this image is from our own Jonah Drake, who was out in the elements earlier as these storms moved on shore near the South Haven area. This was a little bit earlier this afternoon as the storms moved on shore from Lake Michigan. And while we're here, we'll take another look at the power outage situation. Let me refresh and get an updated look at that. We still have Berrien County as our top county without power in the state of Michigan. Statewide, we have over 165,000 customers out of power so far, and that will continue to increase most likely as these storms move across southeast lower Michigan, I should say now, southeast lower Michigan. But as of right now, we have Berrien County with over 20,500 customers without power. We have Kalamazoo County with over 19,000 customers without power. Van Buren County with over 17,000 customers without power. We have Ingham County with over 16,000 customers without power. Jackson County with over 14,000 customers, about approaching 14,500 customers without power. We have Wenaway County. That is outside of our area, but Wenaway County with 10,931, approaching 11,000 customers without power. We have Berry County with over 10,000 customers, approaching 11,000 customers without power. And Calhoun County with over 9,600 customers without power. Just a heads up for those of you that may be watching. Let me go back to take radar full again. Hide the source again, but you're in Genesee and Oakland counties, central and southern Genesee County, along with all of Oakland County. So this does include the Flint area, does include Pontiac, Auburn Hills, Novi. Goes up towards the Flushing area. This is a new severe thunderstorm warning for 70-mile-an-hour winds and nickel-sized hail potentially as these line of storms continue to move off to the east. It looks like the National Weather Service, they are going to continue a small sliver of a severe thunderstorm warning for northeastern Ingham County. Good news is if you are in Clinton County, you have been dropped from the severe thunderstorm warning. However, if you are in far northeastern Ingham County, so north of Williamston, does include Weberville, but Bell Oak, northeast of Hazlet, it's a small sliver in northeastern Ingham County. They are continuing with this severe thunderstorm warning. They have dropped it from considerable. It has been dropped down to 60-mile-an-hour winds now. Just with some of the leftover heavier rain in the area as the storm departs, you could still have a brief period of additional damaging winds in the area in far northeastern Ingham County. And radar, going to radar, I am still maybe, especially on the Grand Rapids radar is showing it, maybe still a pocket of 50 to 60-mile-an-hour winds in northeastern Ingham County. However, I do think it will be quickly departing. It will be departing here in relatively short order into Shiawassee County. So I do not anticipate this warning really lasting that much longer. If you're in that small section of northeastern Ingham County, so northeast of Hazlet, northeast of Williamston, you're in Weberville, you're still technically in the warning. Bell Oak, really our main area of concern. If you're along M52, north of M43, that is a good thoroughfare. If you're near, point out, if you're near the Maidens Airport, northeastern Ingham County, that is where we're watching for a little bit continued for potential for damaging straight line winds up to 60 miles an hour. That is our only warning in our coverage area. Warnings do continue in southeast Michigan. We do have warnings that continue for Shiawassee, Genesee, Livingston, Oakland, Washtenaw, Wenaway, Monroe, and Wayne counties. As this line of storms continue to moves off to the east, it is producing damaging straight line winds. Up to 70 miles per hour potentially. Again, we've had wind gusts as high as 79 miles per hour near Kalamazoo earlier this afternoon. So these storms have had a history of producing of winds in excess of between 60 and 80 miles per hour. So we are going to go ahead and stick with you until our warning for Ingham County is finally allowed to expire or is canceled. So we'll stick with you. But again, this is just for this leftover storm potential. And it's really beginning to weaken as a matter of fact, too, I think. So I do not think this warning is going to last too much longer. But still a little bit leftover wind potential in northeastern Ingham County. But at this point, I think our main severe weather problems is moving east into southeast lower Michigan. K-Bay, we primarily cover, I am particularly based here in Gratiot County in Ithaca, but we primarily cover, again, Grand Rapids, Muskegon, Ludington, down towards Kalamazoo, over towards Jackson, Lansing, St. John's, up towards Mount Pleasant and Clare. So, yeah, those are some of the primary areas that we cover. here at West Michigan Weather. So So again, our severe threat is beginning to wind down, I think, for this evening across the area. Um, as these storms continue to depart to the east. Owasso, I'm seeing someone asking about Owasso. Owasso, you're still technically in the severe thunderstorm warning. However, the outflow boundary has already passed through. You're likely noticing the winds pick up a little bit. But the strongest storms are kind of staying in southern Shiawassee County, in my opinion. So, Daryl, I know you're asking about Owasso. Probably still some gusty winds in the area. You're still under the severe thunderstorm warning, so I would remain inside as, of course, well, in fact, they just updated the severe thunderstorm warning. Owasso has been dropped from the severe thunderstorm warning. It is now primarily southeastern Shiawassee County and central and eastern Livingston County was primarily of concern. For potential wind gusts up to 70 miles per hour. Yeah, I was just curious where you were to see if you were impacted by the storms. Fortunately, here, it's been areas along and south of I-96 that has seen the worst of the storms. If you're north of I-96, I think most areas got through without too many problems, just some leftover rainfall. Now moving across the area, the National Weather Service in Grand Rapids has canceled the severe thunderstorm warning for Ingham County. So with that is the last of the severe thunderstorm warnings for right now across our coverage area. So taking one final look at the radar before we do wrap up coverage, at least for right now. I'll just take a general satellite radar view, as a matter of fact. We do continue with severe thunderstorms moving across southeast Michigan, particularly along and southeast of I-69. We are watching additional storms off to the west. In fact, one in northwestern Illinois just went severe warned. We'll be watching these storms as they move towards our area later tonight, just in case we do have an additional strong to severe storm potential. I do think the potential of that is going to be lower than what we've had already. Yeah, so these are the storms we'll be watching later this evening or overnight. We'll have to watch those just in case you do turn severe, but I do think the threat of that is overall going to be lower than what we've seen this evening. But still, you could see some hail, maybe some gusty winds later this evening. That will be an area-wide issue if that does occur. But we'll deal with that when the time comes later tonight. But I do think the threat is going to be lower than what we've had right now. What we've just had pass through our area. So with that said, since we do have no active severe thunderstorm warnings, I am going to go ahead and scale back live coverage. Before I do that, I do want to mention a couple of things. If you do have storm reports to pass along to us, in just a second, I'll get the link up in chat. Just a second here. Posting the link in chat right now. But if you do have storm reports to pass along to us, feel free to let us know. If you have damage reports or anything like that, if you go to our website, www.westmichiganweather.net/report, or in the comments of our live stream or any of our social media posts throughout the event, mainly this live stream. But again, if you do have damage reports passed along to us, please feel free to let us know. Not only would we greatly appreciate it, it would also help our friends at the National Weather Service. If you also want to, this is completely optional. We never require it for our live streams for severe weather, but If you want to support our efforts at West Michigan Weather, feel free to do so. If you go to www.westmichiganweather.net/donate, that has a link to our Patreon where you can optionally subscribe. There's tiers as low as a $1 per month. You can support our efforts here at West Michigan Weather, support our operations here, to help pay for our software, for our radar and our live stream software, help pay for fuel for storm chases, and you'll get a little something in return if you do donate to us in the form of exclusive early access or exclusive forecasts, or depending on the tier, there's some additional goodies in there as well. But again, it is completely optional. We would never require it for life-saving weather information or for most forecasts. But if you do want to support our efforts, it's completely optional. We would greatly appreciate it. Again, I have posted a link in chat, but that's going to be www.westmichiganweather.net/donate is where you can go to if you wish to support our efforts. But again, with that said, thank you for those of you that have tuned into our live stream here. I do want to quickly pass along that the National Weather Service in Grand Rapids has canceled the severe thunderstorm warning. So we no longer have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for our area. We do still technically have a heat advisory in effect for a few of our for some of our coverage area counties. However, that does expire at 8 p.m. and I do think that may ultimately be allowed to expire. All right, and I do want to pass along this update for tonight's convection. This is from the latest aviation update from the National Weather Service in Grand Rapids. The linear cluster of severe storms have exited east and southwest lower Michigan terminals. So that's going to be your airports. Subsidence in the lake of this convection combined with the loss in diurnal heating suggests ongoing convection west of Lake Michigan may struggle to enter southern Michigan tonight. Weak flow and residual boundary layer moisture may support some areas of fog, light fog toward daybreak Sunday. Building daytime heating instability. Saturday afternoon will support a good chance for shower and thunderstorm development as additional mid-level shortwave energy approaches the western Great Lakes. So, again, we will continue to watch these storms off to the west. But National Weather Service is noting these will probably not be too much of an issue now later tonight. But we'll still watch it nonetheless, and if we do have to have additional updates tonight, we will. But however, the threat from those storms appears to be relatively low heading into tonight. So with that said, I am going to go ahead and wrap up our live coverage now. Thank you for tuning in with us. Stay with West Michigan Weather. We will keep you advised of any further weather danger until the danger has passed. Again, thank you for joining us on our live stream. This is on behalf of Jacob Mountain, on behalf of Jonah Drake and the entire West Michigan Weather team, signing off.